Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Test Automation Masterclass by Testify Limited. My name is Eniola Ajala. We are so sorry for not starting right on time. Apologies for that. But it's great to be here. I can see a lot of comments online. All right. Thank you guys for showing up on time. Thank you, Rolly. Thank you, Femayowa. Thank you, Kafayat. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Manuel. Thank you, Israel. Thank you, Miriam. Hi, Emmanuel. Hi, Senor. Hi, Michael. Hi, Islamiat. Hi, Maureen. Matashi Olufunsho. Linda. Adeyemi. Princess is here. Itunu Oluwa. Hello, everybody. So glad to have you here. Please, you can just drop your location where you are joining us from. Henry, welcome. You can just tell us, are you joining us from Lagos, Nigeria, or from Manchester, in the UK, are you from Aberdeen, Abuja, wherever you're from all over the world. Please just drop your location. Let's know where you're from. And we're just going to wait for a few more minutes so that others can join us as well. So it's great to have you guys here. Thank you for joining. Hi, Thaddeus. Hi, Sultan. Hi, Fini. Thank you so much for joining. Wow. It's so good to have everybody here. Such a great time. I mean, I know that it's going to be great. Oh, Israel is joining from Ibadan. Kafayat is from Abuja. Thaddeus is from England. Fantastic. Sayo is from Lagos. Okay, Sultan is from Ibadan. Festus is from Nigeria. Okay, Festus from Nigeria. Great stuff. Great stuff. All right. Fisayo says, oh, okay, Fisayo. Fisayo is from Lagos, Nigeria. Atolagbe Jamiu is from Port Harcourt. Olani Deborah is from Lagos. Fortune is also from Lagos. I think there are a lot of people from Lagos. How about my people in the UK? I can't see you guys. People from the UK, where are you? UK, Aberdeen, Scotland, from the US, from Netherlands. Where are you guys? I'm waiting for you guys. Ifemayawa is from Lagos. Islamiat is from Lagos. Oyinkosola is from Lagos. Is just taking over the place. What happened now? You guys, eh? Come on. Ugochi is from Lagos. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. So we're just going to wait for a few more minutes to have more people join us, and then we'll dive right into it. All right. In the meantime, I'll just play music for us to just, wherever you are, just shake your body a little as you prepare for this session. All right. Rolly is from Lagos as well. Olauton is from Abeokuta. All right. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you so much for being here. Olauton is from Olauton is from Birmingham. Osilat is from Edo. Williams is from Lagos. Temiloluwa, Lagos. Onene is from Port Harcourt. Samuel is from Warri. Rolly, yes, yes. I'm also open to move to the next level. Yes, definitely. As a software tester, is the next level from here onward. Miracle. Hey, good to see you, Miracle from Ibadan. Nice one. Great to have you guys here. All right. So without further ado, we'll just dive right into it. I'm pretty sure you guys can see my slide. So welcome to the Test Automation Masterclass. Um, Once again, welcome. This is a masterclass on how to become a sought after test automation engineer. Even if you hate coding, I know that a lot of people are not really familiar with coding, but hey, you are here and this is the right place to be. Okay. Who are we at Testify? Testify, we provide independent software, quality assurance, and testing services across multiple industries. We develop an in-depth understanding of the applications under test and include software testing strategies that deliver quantifiable results. So we have quite a number of services that we render at Testify. We do trainings, we do consulting services as well in Testify Limited. What are the people that are meant to be here? If you're a manual tester who wants to advance your career, if you're a software tester that's looking at starting automation testing, and if you also want to become more visible in your career, this is the right place for you to be. Now, what will you learn here? You will learn how to become a sought after test automation engineer. You will learn how to develop and deploy an end-to-end test automation lifecycle. You will learn the ABC of Python test automation and also understand why test automation skills are important. and why they've become a highly demanded skill. I'm sure that a lot of people have seen you've seen a lot of vacancies, and one of the things they are asking you for are your test automation skills. So what do you know? What framework are you familiar with, and so on? All right. So what have we achieved at Testify Limited? I mean, Testify is doing fantastically well. Right now, we have about 213 junior testers in our community. We have 148 intermediate testers. We have 317 senior testers and 42 team leads, and growing, right? We have more people joining. Currently, we have a cohort going for our switch to software testing, and by the end of that, we've had more numbers to what we currently have. So we've trained over 10,000 individuals on software training and software testing, and we've trained 50 plus businesses on software testing as well. So we are doing fantastically well. If you look in the media, you're going to see Testify Limited there. We've been mentioned in Forbes, we've mentioned in Tech Trends Africa. We have awards all over, Tech Cabal. A lot of stuff have been written about us in Business Insider Africa, by our network, and Nigerian Tribune, and so on. Now, what are the guys we work for? I mean, we've mentioned so many people that we've trained and companies we work with. So, what are the guys we work for? We have train quarters, we have UBA, we have football, we have data, and so on and so forth. Right now, we're going to go right into it. So, for our first speaker today, Ademola is our first speaker, and I'm just going to introduce him so that we'll dive right into it. I believe Ademola is here. All right, so I'm just going to read a quick bio of Ademola. Ademola Badmos is passionate about quality assurance, especially software. He conveniently and efficiently automates in Python for Selenium-based frameworks. He uses Behaves with Python to implement BDD tests as well as robot frameworks for BDD and KDD, and also Cypress IO for non-Selenium-based frameworks. I'm sure that a lot of people will be wondering, maybe you know Python or Cypress. Don't worry, we would explain all these things to us. He automates using APIs with Python, Newman, and Postman. He integrates works with CI pipelines like Jenkins and Circle CI. He performs loads of testing using JMeter and Locust with Python. He has an excellent knowledge of using Jira and Testrio. Fantastic. So that's a wonderful profile by Ademola. So right about now, Ademola would take on his own presentation, his own session with us. I believe you're ready. Please have your notepad, your pen right beside you. After his session, we're going to take questions. If you have anything you want to say to him, you have questions you want to ask him, please note them down. Once it's done, we'll take questions and then we'll go on to the next speaker. So Ademola, hi, it's good to have you here. You're currently muted and we can't see your face. I don't know if probably where you are, we can see your face. Hi Ademola. Ademola, can you hear me? You can hear me, you're muted. I don't know if Ademola is having challenges with his audio, or can you just give me like a few?
Guys.
Hi. Oh,
Hello.
fantastic. Hello. Good to have you, Ademola.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. So
Yeah.
without further ado, let me just make some corrections here. The framework is behave, not behaves. So and
Apologies. Behave.
moving
You're
forward,
sorry
whoever
about
wants to
that.
ask question, just call me Badmos. It's a bit weird being called Ademola actually. I'm not being
Okay.
called Badmos. Like
All right. Badmos, it is then.
okay,
Badmos.
so without further ado, because time is fast spent, I'm supposed to have started. I will be talking about developing and deploying an E2E test automation lifecycle. E2E means it means end to end. So there won't be any slides, but I'll just get right into it. Basically, it is assumed that there are like 6 stages in the cycle of automation, but in reality, it isn't 6 stages. So I will be picking this topic based on the experience as someone that automates and loves to automate. So and who has kind of moved around the industry and have experienced different things. So this is a practical experience. So when you want to automate, what is automation itself as regards software testing? It is basically about simulating what you test manually. You test a function manually, you automate it. Then why automation when you can actually test manually? You will need automation at some point when you realize that you have a lot of tests to run. When you have too many tests to run, automate some of them, simulate all those actions that you would do, so that you would not spend much time doing the same thing. Because imagine if you have 1,000 tests to run. If you can have automation run like 700 out of them, it will be even faster than what you do manually. It means it has saved you time. So when you realize that, then you can understand what automation is. So it's not as if you're writing anything spectacular. So do not see it as, oh, I don't like coding and I don't like that. You should be interested in it, because you're not doing anything new. You're just basically telling a script to do what you would do manually. So go to this page that I visit, insert this data that I usually do, press this button, move to the next stage, do this and that. That's all you're doing in automation. So now let's get right into it. The first and the most important thing you should read that really comes to mind in the stages or in the life cycle of automation is the decision to automate. Now, it might look irrelevant, but let me just dive into it. You see, the thing is this: we as a person or as a company need to come to a decision that yes, we need to automate based on two factors. It's majorly two factors, but there are more. The first factor is, how long is it taking to do the regression tests? So that when we deploy, how long does it take the QA to be able to say, okay, yes, we are done. So if it's already taking more than an hour, for instance, if it's taking more than an hour to finish regression test, that means we are taking too much time to test. And we really need to beat it, especially when you're in a pro startup environment. So we need to increase our time. We need to decrease the time it takes and increase our testing efficiency. So it means that yes, we need to introduce automation. Then the second thing is, do we have an environment that supports it? Now, environment in this scenario is our environment stable? Do we have individual nodes where we can say things, where we can put things? Because, okay, do we have an established feature branch? Do we have an established test environment? Do we have an established staging environment? And do we have an established live environment? Is there a very big similarity between our staging and our live environment? What's test, staging, and live environment? Test environment is where everybody does the fun stuff. The developer works on a particular feature, tests it in the test environment. The tester picks that particular feature in the test environment, tests it as it is, brings it out of it, or merges what is in staging to that particular feature, checks it. Oh, it can integrate with what is in staging. So I think it's safe to put on the staging environment. Now, the staging environment is the pre-production environment. That is our last line of defense as a development team in a company. We check, oh, if everything works fine on this particular environment, when we push it to our customers, it should work fine. So, which means that staging and that live environment should have a lot of similarities. So now, where do we put our automation script? Do we have this environment established such that whatever we are doing on the test doesn't affect staging, whatever we are doing on staging doesn't affect live? I have actually worked in an environment where everything is jumbled up. If you push something, I'm not making this up, and I cannot mention names. So I can't see comments and don't know. So nobody should ask, please mention the name of the company. No, I won't. But I promise you, this has actually happened. It so happened that I almost got fired, but because I usually cover my bases, there was an email to the effect, I told them the conditions that you don't have stable environments, but why are you telling me to automate? So I automated and I put things on staging. And the next day, every hell broke. They were looking for me. They were like, things were moving from staging to live. I said, how should things move from staging to live? I only put automated script on staging for you people. And the head of QA could not say anything. He was just like, well, he did warn you guys. So do we have a stable environment to do that? So, and do we have a stable pipeline? Not that we'll do something and the next thing, pipeline is hanging, pipeline is down. Pipeline will be discussed in plethora, probably by other speakers, but let me just quickly touch base on it. Pipeline is the word we use for continuous integration and development, such that for every time you add a new update to your code, there is a particular channel that tests the new update in a bucket and see that it doesn't affect anything else that has been done, and it still moves you up seamlessly. So when those three things are actually considered, how long do we take to perform regression tests and all other tests before we can deploy? Do we have a stable environment and do we have a stable pipeline? Then we can begin to start automation. Hello, can you guys still hear me? Okay. I don't know if people can hear me, and I don't know how to know if people are there with me. So please just bear with me. See,
We
it's as
can
if,
definitely hear you.
okay, good. So as it is, then we now begin the scope of automation. What do we want to automate? How do we want to automate it? And what exactly do we do? In this case, usually what I usually go for first is the critical path or the happy path. What is the critical part? The critical part for an application, for any given application, is that part that if any of that part fails, the application is certified not working. Take for instance, if you cannot log in into any application, what's the use of the application? The application is bad. So we automate those critical parts. Let's say it's an e-commerce application and you cannot check out. That's a problem. Or you cannot even search for products. Anytime you search, it just returns a blank page. So you automate those happy parts. Then I also like to automate test scenarios that are very long. Like it is not, we shouldn't talk about sign up. Sign up is advisable not to automate sign up, but that's a debate for another day. But let's say it's a test. Let's say it's not a course not a sign up, but you need to register courses, and you need to do this like 10 times because you want to register. Let's say it's a school application. You want to register 20 courses for the session, and you don't just put this name of courses. You put their curriculum and all that. There is a big form to fill. If it will take time to do all of that, you can automate that as well, right? Then one other part that I like to automate a lot, because it will lead to another thing that we'll talk about, is those parts that are usually often repeated. Like whatever test you want to do, you have to often repeat it. Example is login again. When you want to use any application, especially applications that don't save login sessions, that when you log in, when you log in, right? Whether you log out or not, once you close the browser, if you try to open that browser again, you have to log in again. That means you have to always repeat that. So instead of testing that manually all the time, you can automate that. Then one other part that I like to automate are buggy parts, like those features that are usually buggy. I remember when I worked for one e-commerce company. That company, the only time I know that our search feature worked well was during those that November period, Black Friday. That Black Friday, it's as if the spirits that usually disturb the search feature is always subdued. But throughout the year, every other month, we'll just say search is broken, search is broken. We are fixing search. The algorithm is something, is this, is that. But once it is time for Black Friday to cash in, to cash out, this search will behave itself. But we add that search feature in our automated script. In fact, a separate test case like spec file was created for search. So with that being said, you now begin, that means you've decided your scope of automation. Those are the things you want to automate. You already have them listed. Then the next thing is selecting the right tool. Now, this is subjective. It's subjective in the sense that it is not just entirely up to the QA person to determine the right tool. It is about a collective decision, and this is why. It might mean that, okay, yes, you might have like manual testers, but you are probably the only automation person, and the developers are always ready to help. So the developers may want to they don't want to shift their learning curve. Like, okay, yes, we write C# here, you understand? Just look for something that is C# and will also help you out. So it means that you might need to use C# and Selenium, and probably if they want BDD, you'll be using SpecFlow. Now that's one scenario. The other scenario is if it is entirely up to you as the QA team, as the head of the QA team or part of the QA team to decide the tool, you might begin to look at other metrics like, okay, ease of learning, ease of setup. Those two are very important, and this is why. When you begin to expand your QA team and you begin to bring people in, there are so many automation tools, you can't know everything. But what is the ease of learning it? Is it easy to learn so people can adapt? Because the thing is this, you cannot say, "Okay, we only want people that can use our tool. Those are the people that we want to hire." You might just hire the wrong person. Because there are QAs that have all the rights, they check all the right boxes, but they just don't use your automated tools. You understand? But the thing is this, when you learn through the best practices, it will be easy to learn other tools individually. So ease of learning, ease of setup, and runtime speed. Now, I have worked in 3 different organizations and we used 3 different things. One place we use Selenium and Python, the other place we use Robot Framework, the third place we use Cypress. Now, on ease of setup, Selenium wasn't it. Though it was even Selenium and Python, which is really relatively easier to set up compared to other tools that uses Selenium. You understand? It's one of the easiest tools to set up when you are using Python. We use that, but why? We use that because Selenium is open source and the developers were using the Selenium framework. They were tweaking it for our own advantage. It was a crypto company and they wanted to put some things and checks into their own Selenium framework. And because those developers were that good, they did it. You understand? So the other place we used Robot Framework. The reason we used Robot Framework was simple. The test people that were working before they were using BAT and PHP, Selenium and BAT. That was what they were using. But there was no learning curve to it. They met the framework there. They don't write new codes. They show them plug this here, plug this here, plug this here. So they don't have any programming knowledge. And they wanted to start writing. And Robot Framework is more or less purely English. You don't write anything. It's just purely English. So we move towards that. And because Robot Framework too runs fast, it sets up itself fast in the pipeline and it runs very fast. And where we are right now, we use Cypress because most of their framework is Java based. It's Java based and their front end is Angular. And Cypress was initially made to address some Angular issues before it became a very big and robust testing framework. So we began to use that. And they also later now realized that people coming in, it is easier to teach them Cypress than try to teach them what they were using before, Java and Selenium. Because the thing is, to even write a Java code, people get confused. So when you now want to pick your tool, have the particular metrics you want to check. Okay, yes. Do we need it internally for people to be able to tweak it? Okay. If it's just strictly for the QA to use, okay. When we begin to add people in, how easy would they be able to come on board and start using our tool? Then how fast is it for us? You understand? Then what other features does it bring in? You understand? So have those metrics in, then you are done with scope of automation. Then, you are done with selecting the right tool for automation. So now the next thing is now your strategy to writing your code. Now this strategy, it is subjective. It depends on what the application does. If it's about, okay, you reading a lot from a file, getting things done, you understand. You already know that your bedrock is a data-driven test. You are doing a lot of data-driven tests because you need to fetch files, right? But the thing is, how do you now write your data-driven test? What is the scope? That still goes back to selecting the right tool again. Because when you are writing these things, the result of your end-to-end reports is given to a product owner or a project manager. They use it to form an acceptance test manual for their user acceptance meeting with clients and all of that. Now, what do you do when they actually want to be inclusive in the code, in the scripting? They want to know what you guys are automating and all that. Okay. Now, do you still use, because you still need data, but can you represent data using test-driven approach, or can you represent this data using keyword-driven approach, or can you represent this data using behavior-driven approach? Like you just write out things in English, they can see, they can understand, but they don't know how the inner working is, but they actually say, okay, this scenario was automated, as opposed to any other thing. So based on the peculiarity of your project, what do you take? Do you need a lot of data? Do you need data to be fed into your script? You begin to think about that. Then after thinking about all of those things, One other thing that is very important that you should also talk about is the maintenance of your script. Because if you're using page object modeling brings clarity to your code. Know that. It brings clarity, but it also increases your cost of maintenance. And this is how. It means for new features that you want to come in, you must create a new object class, right? You must create a new object class, and that object class will be imported into the runner files for you to work, or probably your step implementation file if you're using BDD to work. So what that means is that if you're importing and all of that, by the time your code is being compiled to run, there'll be a lot of imports that must be resolved first and all of those things. So it becomes a bit longer to set up. But if you are caching things, it's still the same thing. You have some already cached into memory. Just something new will be updated to it and all that. And it means that every time you must always be careful when you're writing your code, because you would have all this done now, which also now relates back to what I said before, picking a tool, right? But in some other tools, the import thing is not a big deal, because there are so many ways you can use that tool that you don't even need to start using imports anyway. All you just need to do is, in fact, all the imports you will do it in just one single file. You will do all your imports in one single file. Unlike the way page object is, that okay, you have to create the object class, import the object class in a particular place, then import that particular file in the main file that will run. Like, just have like a load of import like that. And especially when you have a particular file, not even doing just a page object thing, but helping you to actually call an API, help you stop an API request so that you can set up a cookie inside your script. It becomes very high to maintain. So when you think about, okay, how can we make it less costly to maintain it? Then maybe you will now look at using reusable codes, using reusable methods and classes. So which means that instead of creating so many files, you will create fewer files because you've reused some of the codes. A typical example is, you know that for everything you do, you have to click, you have to type at some point, you have to verify a page, and you have to verify some elements on the page. So like those four things, they are common to every other test you can do. So rather than be having a method for, okay, I'm clicking login this, I'm clicking login here, I'm clicking payout here, I'm clicking search here, I'm clicking here. So if instead of having 10 click methods, you could have just one click method that would accept the elements you need to click. So which means you've saved yourself 10 more lines of code. Okay, so they said, let me just quickly round up. I think I have 2 more stages to go. So now, the next part is setting up the environment where your code will run. This one, it depends on the technology that you guys are used to, you understand? So the thing is, but when that is already established, in the first point I made that, okay, do you have a pipeline that runs? So when you have that environment, how do you want to set up your test on it? Do you want to schedule it? Do you want to just have it to be running as smoke test, like run at different intervals, regardless of whether there's a deployment, or you want it to run at every deployment, or you want it to run at a particular deployment? If there's a major deployment, it should be flagged. That means you'll not be using some flags and tags in your script to trigger it at a particular point. You understand? Or if you just want it to run a smoke test, you go into the pipeline and create scheduled jobs for it to run. Then moving forward now, after that, you can have your you also your test script and all that. You make sure that you revamp them to avoid flakiness. And in avoiding flakiness, one thing you should always do is try to avoid using expert a lot. Try to avoid using it. If time had permitted, I will talk about why you should avoid using experts. But even best practices wise, it discourages you from using experts. So try to avoid it as much as possible. And the last part of it is how do you generate your reports. You understand? So how do you want to generate it? Do you want to incorporate a dashboard tool where your reports go to? Or you want to generate it so that the report is stored inside the pipeline, that people can just go into the pipeline and see the reports? Whichever one you decide, it's just all about your decision. So that's my time. I'm done speaking. Thank you for having me. If you're saying anything, you're muted.
Yeah, I don't know if she's saying something. Eniola, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, please.
Please go ahead, Demola.
Demola is done speaking.
I'm
Can you
done
hear?
speaking.
I'm sorry, the network logged out at some point, so I didn't know you were done. All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much. That was very, I have to say, very deep session because I mean, it took me a while. I started thinking about some stuff, right? And considering where I currently work, I start putting some of those things you said into play. Looking at my own place of work. Thank you so much. So we have a question. Please, guys, if you have a question, kindly drop it. So I have a question from John. He said during an interview, this question came up: postman, manual, or automation? And his response was that it works both ways. But in the interviewer said no, postman is a manual. Um, Postman is manual. So as a postman specialist, can you please explain? Is it manual or is it automation? I don't know if you
Now,
understand the question.
yeah, so let's understand what automation means first. So perhaps we'll just arrive at the answer. Automation means
We
no
lost both of
manual.
them.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. I think
Yeah.
both of you.
Yes.
So that being said, let us understand what manual and automation means. Automation means no manual involvement of any kind. Like you don't have to use no human interaction of any kind. Everything is all automated. Something is triggered automatically and it triggers your postman request automatically. That is it. Now, does postman do that? Can it trigger itself automatically? If it can trigger itself automatically, then there is an automation in it. But we know that Postman can't trigger itself automatically. You will launch your Postman page. Even if you've created a collection, you have to click the run button on your Postman. It's only when anything can you carry your Postman framework, go and install it inside the pipeline? No. What you can do is you can export your JSON collection away from it. Then with the aid of a Newman dependency, run your Postman scripts, run your Postman collection in a pipeline. So anything that has the involvement of human interaction is not automated anymore. Does that answer the question?
Yes, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it
you
does.
answered. Okay, so I think that where I wanted to comment also to add to what Demola said is the possibly where the person was talking about the automation is the scheduler. Postman has the schedule feature in it where you can set your test to run at a certain date at a certain time. But that will be based on people that use Postman at premium version. You can then schedule your test to make your test automatically run at a certain date or time. But if you are not using a premium version, then it's still a manual approach. And I think that they are mixing up the testing IDE environment on Postman, to call it an automation tool. Postman is a tool, like Demola mentioned, right? You can carry out both your manual tests and also write your automation test scripts in the test section of Postman. However, the capacity for you to be able to schedule your test to run by itself without your involvement is what makes it an automated tool. So I just thought to add to that. Thank you, Demola.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Princess. All right, Demola, I have another question here. Using Cypress from Henry. So using Cypress, how do you undo automating test cases that can be saved just once, like creating a user?
Now, creating a user is more or less like sign up. Hmm? Now, usually I tell people avoid trying to automate sign up because it requires human intervention. You have to probably check a code to see that you've verified, or you go into your email to confirm the email. Now, can Cypress do that? Yes, it can do that in two ways. But the thing is, the first way is you can't, that way, the result of that way is that you'll be using an email server, which doesn't represent your true email, Though you get an email in it, like using Meloso. If you use Meloso, you can automate it. Yes, it is doable. I've executed it before. Yeah, you can do that. But does it really represent what you actually need? Is debatable in your organization. Then the other way to automate that is polling Gmail. You have to use Gmail APIs. Now that is is of two types, because if you are using an internal organization email, you would have a stable token. Let's say your company is using the G Suite, so which means they have like at Gmail, they have their own customized at gmail.com domain. It means that they would have an internal token which will remain stable. But if you want to use your normal Gmail to get the Gmail APIs, you always have to renew your token. And the thing is, the renewal of the token is not like, okay, every 7 days. You could do it today and it will require that you renew it today. And it won't request again for another 2 days. Then the next 2 days, it will ask you to renew again. Then another 1 week, everything is fine. Then it will start failing again. It will ask you to do everything every 6 hours, right? So with that being in mind, please avoid doing things that, okay, they are like primarily involves human intervention. But if you have to do it, I would recommend that use the Melosaur use the Melosaur approach, if that makes sense. Use the Melosaur approach. So I can see that someone wrote that time is up. Which would you advise one goes for, Java or Python? Because you said something about Java being somewhat complicated. I'm actually taking a QA course, and Java is what they decided to use. Yeah. So the thing is this: you can start with Java, you can start with Python. If you want a recommendation, go for an approach where you can easily learn the language used with Selenium. Now, if Java, because people's comprehension is quite different. If Java is very easy for you to learn Java. But what that means is that Python will be super simpler for you to learn. But that is just by the side. Why I actually did say that learn a particular language that is easy to learn and you understand it is based off experience. When you get some interviews, don't expect them to just give you, oh, go and automate this for us. No. There are two things that they will do. You will automate something, you bring it, they will now ask you to defend it. They will now start asking you programming specific questions. So if you don't understand the language you use to automate, it becomes a problem. I've actually seen someone that I was part of the interview panel and I didn't even say much. It was the CTO that was interested because the person liked Java. This person automated very good thing, but did it in Java and Selenium. And he was asked to, okay, so this particular method, what data type does it return? The guy could not understand what that person was saying, because it's easy to follow through. It's easy to follow through steps. You understand? It's easy to follow through steps. Okay, this is how to do it in Java. This is how to set it up. But do you understand the methods? Do you understand how to create a class in Java? What's data? Because Java is strictly type language. You understand? So it got to that point. Or you may get to an interview and they say, okay, come and write a code. Since you use Java to automate, come and write a code for us in Java. But you can't do that. It becomes a problem. So go for something that you can easily learn on the side without Selenium with it. That's my advice.
Thank you very much, Demola. So, because of time, we would take the other questions subsequently. Other speakers will take the question. But thank you so much for your time. It's been amazing listening to you. Thank you so much. So,
Mine.
to say goodbye to you. Thank you for your.
Yeah, I just want to quickly step out a bit. I'll be back into the
All right, fantastic. Okay,
Yes.
wow, amazing session by Demola there. Okay, so without wasting much of our time, we are going to bring up Emmanuel. I'm just going to read a quick bio on who Emmanuel is. All right. Okay, Emmanuel is already here. I'm sure you guys can see him right there. Okay, so Emmanuel Kuye is passionate about application software testing. He loves finding bugs, providing detailed, reproducible steps, and managing the entire quality process of a software development team. He uses automated software testing tools to automate repetitive, testable use cases, find bugs, provide detailed reproductive steps, and perform scheduled regression tests. Emmanuel currently works as the senior test automation engineer at Alert by Wema. Hi, Emmanuel, can you hear me? Emmanuel, can you hear me? You're
And yeah,
muted.
yeah.
Yeah, you're muted. So you have to unmute. Emmanuel,
Hello.
hi. Yes, good to have you here.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So the floor
Yeah.
is yours. Please go ahead. Your slide is on.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. We would be talking a bit about test automation. Badmos has said a lot of things that I might even repeat. He went very in depth. Okay, so this is a small introduction about me. I've been doing test automation for 6 years now, about 6 years. Worked with a couple of companies. Based on test automation, I I write test automation in Python, JavaScript, and some Java. Okay, so first let's find out. So who is a test automation engineer? So personally, I like to think of a test automation engineer, an automation engineer, as a person who has a developer skill set and a tester's mindset. So you have the skills of a developer and you have the mind of a tester. So you're able to, a developer, so a person that is purely a developer might not be able to see some things that you would be able to see because you are a tester. You're able to see that, okay, this is a bug, this is actually a bug, but a developer might not be able to see that. So most times this is a very rare combination. So you hardly find this kind of combination of a person that has the developer's skill set and the tester's mindset. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Next. Okay, yes. So how can you become an automation engineer? First things first, you have to learn the basics of testing. You have to know the basics of manual testing, documentations, everything that is required for you to manually test. You have to be very strong in that first. Then you now start to learn how to code. So most times you're writing programs that automate regression testing that provides feedback. So you're trying to automate what you've already done manually. So some scenarios, you need to be good at coming up with valuable scenarios. So this particular scenario that you want to test, you want to automate, you have to be very good at thinking of, okay, this is a very good scenario to automate. This is not necessary to automate. So some edge cases. So edge cases are scenarios that usually do not happen. So those edge cases are not necessary to automate because they hardly happen. So yeah, so you automate the repeated scenarios, the risky areas. So there are some parts of the application that are very risky. You need to focus your automation on those areas. You have to also know how to structure and arrange your tests. So most times I use the arrange, act, and accept. So first of all, you arrange your test. You know how to arrange all of your preconditions. So for instance, you want to automate logging into an application. You have to arrange already. You have to navigate to the website. You have to navigate to the website, assert that or check that the website is opened already. Then you now carry out an action. So the action will be to enter the username, password, and click the login button. Then you now assert. So arrange, act, and assert. Um,
I think Emmanuel's network is having issues. Emmanuel, can you hear us?
Hello.
Sorry, guys. I think his network is from Twitter. Okay, he's jumped off the call. Let's just hold on for a few seconds. Well, in the few seconds that he has spoken, I've learned a number of things. First thing is that as a test automation engineer, you have to have the mindset of a tester and also have a developer's skill set. I mean, that's very, very, very important, right? So know how to code and also you know how to test because you're doing both jobs. And I know a lot of people have been asking, do I need to automate? Do I need to learn how to code as for automation and all that? Whether you like it or not, we'll still code. It may not be as serious as you want, but you will still have to learn how to code. And you can see that in a slide here. You can see number two is learn how to code. It's very, very important that you know how to code as a test automation engineer. The first thing is, of course, learn the basics of testing. Now, what is it saying? If you are you have to first be a manual tester. I believe that you have to first be a manual tester before you can then become an automation engineer. Hi, Emmanuel, welcome back. I believe you're
Okay,
muted.
yeah. Apologies, yeah.
No, it's
Yeah,
fine.
okay. Yes, I was talking about, I'm not sure where I stopped, but I think accession, that was when the
Yes, you had
network
number
went
four. You're
off.
about to take
So
number
there are
four.
different types of accession tools and libraries that we can use in automation. Um, so most times we have interaction tools. Most of these tools that we have are tools that help to interact with the application. So you're tapping a button, you're entering some text. Those are interaction tools. So now we now need to like import an exception library. So for instance, in Python we have PyTest, in JavaScript we have Mocha, we have Chai, in Java we have test ngj unit. So those are session libraries. So after your acts and you've arranged and you now want to asset, you now want to do the actual testing, you need these accession libraries to validate that, okay, yeah, I can actually see that I have successfully logged in. I can actually see that I've been able to click this button. I can see that, okay, yeah, the new page has opened. So those are the accessions that you actually need to do. Um, yeah, so I was also talking about the in parallel. So you want to run this particular one and this particular one, and you want to run them in grids, containers. Most of those things are what we look out for also. Um, what else? What else do we need to know? Okay, yeah, we also have the complementary processes. So we have the BDD, the behavior driven development, where you write user readable. So people that are not developers or testers are able to come ahead and read that, okay, yeah. So given I am a user and I log into this, I should be able to see this. You are writing your code in a way that people can easily read and understand. And we also have the TDD, which is the test driven development. In this approach, you are writing the test before the developers even write their code. So as they are writing their, so when you first write the test is failing. So they are now writing their own code to make that your test pass. So that is the TDD approach. We also have frameworks that we employ. Most times I use the page object model where we are categorizing our tests into different pages and we're able to access them. This helps us to maintain our code easily. Then tools like Badmos said, we have Cypress, we have Python, we have JavaScript, we have a lot of different tools or languages with their different frameworks that we can use to automate also. Okay, yeah, so yeah, we have what's in it for me. So as we all know, test automation is a very lucrative field and a lucrative career. So it is very important that we improve our skills to help us improve and get higher up in the ranks, because there are a lot of people out there looking for test automation engineers, and there are not a lot of test automation engineers, because softwares are becoming more and more complex every day, and to manually test them will be very, very difficult. So this automation is actually very, 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 very valuable. Yeah, that'll be all for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Emmanuel. Wow. All right, that was short, but that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, first thing for me, the fact that you even explain what BDD is. I've been wondering what is BDD. I don't know. I know that Demola said it, but I was wondering what's BDD. Now I know that it means behavior driven development. Thank you. Okay, so guys, do you have questions for Emmanuel? So before we go, let's just do a quick recap of some of the things they said. I already mentioned that you should have a developer skill set and you should have a tester's mindset, right? And then you talked about BDD and TDD, where BDD is behavior driven development. You have to have something that's easy to read for anyone that accesses it. Then you have the TDD, test driven development, where you write your test cases before your developers even code at all. All right. And talk about the framework that you can use. And he said he uses page object model that makes it easy for categorization and maintenance. So another thing is that for people that are wondering why they want to learn automation, what is it? First thing he said is that you will keep rising in ranks. So you're looking for quick promotion, just go and learn automation. If they know that you have automation skills, trust me, promotion will be coming back to back to back to back, fast, fast. All right. One other thing is that you get to a lot of people appreciate what you're doing, so you gain lots of appreciation for your work. Okay, so of course you want to be able to say, thank you so much for making this easy. Wow, you're doing a great job. That makes me really happy when I hear that. And of course, he said automation has a bright future. A lot of people are going into automation right now. So there are going to be a lot of opportunities out there for growth. So that's another reason why you should be a test automation engineer. So we have a question for you, Emmanuel. So for someone trying to scale skills, can automation be the starting learning curve?
So when you say skills, what do you mean by skills?
Okay, I think Olaiton, you have to probably explain what you mean by skills so that we can answer that for you, okay? Another question here says, how do you set up CI/CD pipelines to enable test cases run when there are changes in the code base?
Okay, so this is a very deep topic. So I'll just run through an overview of what it is. So you
Okay.
write your script, for instance, in Python, and you push that script that you've written to, like, for instance, a Jenkins server, and this Jenkins server runs those so the way you would normally run them from your IDE or your CLI tool, from your CLI tool, you would run them on the Jenkins server like that, and based on the different steps that you've given to the Jenkins server to run, it would run those steps, and, for instance, send like a report to a Slack channel so people can see that, okay, yeah, these tests were passing, this test is failing. Another way to do it is with GitHub Actions. So you write your tests, for instance, in JavaScript or Java, you push them to GitHub and you get GitHub Actions. So as you're pushing them, once you make any change to the code and you push, GitHub Action checks, runs that test, and gives you back a report or a result of the tests that are passing. And based on the tests that are passing, and based on what you've required, what you've set before the test was pushed, it will now maybe push those codes or merge those code or reject those codes. So if the test is failing and you make your pipeline to be very strict and says that if any test is failing, it shouldn't merge the code, then it won't merge the code. So stuff like that. That's like an overview of the process. Do I need to learn and master programming to start? Yes, you do. You don't need to master, but yeah, you need to learn it to a very large extent. Yeah, but you don't need to master and maybe start building applications and writing APIs. But yeah, you need to know how to script. You need to know how to you need to understand the data structures that are needed or that are required. You need to understand how to deal with integers, how to deal with strings, how to manipulate data. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Emmanuel. It's been wonderful having you here. I'm pretty sure the other questions we have probably taken in the course of the program, but thank you so much for your session. We really appreciate it. It was quite insightful for me. So thank
Thank you.
you. All right. Okay, guys. Wow, it's been two sessions, and man, my book is full. You guys need to see. I'm just writing back to back here. Okay, so I'm going next to our next facilitator, and that's Cyprian. Yes, fantastic. He's here. All right. So before yeah, thank you very much, Princess. Okay, so I'm going to just read or who is Cyprian. Let's know who he is. Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right. So Cyprian Kipruto, I hope I got that right, is a young technologist who had ventured into so many tech worlds, realizing the importance of technology in society. Is a test is a lead test engineer at Microsoft. Wow. His key concern is to help solve problems and find solutions that are qualitative enough to make an impact on society through the tech world. He majored in quality assurance while focusing on manual and automated testing for software features and cloud platforms. He's also a web and USSD developer who has worked on several applications with great results to show. Oh, fantastic. Great stuff. Cyprian, it's good to have you here. You're muted and we can't see you. So please you can unmute and show your face. Hi, Cyprian.
Hello,
Hi. Good to have you here. The floor is yours.
thank you so much. So, without wasting time, I'll just get into it. So, thank you so much for the opportunity that you've given me, and it's a pleasure to be here. So, one thing that I'll say is that I'm not old enough, and the testing. I'm not that old enough in the quality assurance field, so I give respect to all those that have spoken. I'm actually 2 years, 6 months old in this field, but I've taken every bit of it to ensure that my career progresses. Like, for instance, if you're given a chance to do something, ensure that you do your best, ensure that you have results in each and every step. So, before I start, I'll urge you guys, the quality assurance team, both manual and automation testing, is very, very vital in our companies today. Like, we need all of you guys to ensure that you keep your best so that we can have quality products that are going to the market. Like, we need to ensure that anything that we produce in each and every company, it should be something that it's worth, and it's something that gives back the credit to the company. So it's our task to ensure that we have quality enough product. So the first, I don't know if I have my slide. Okay, yeah. Why test automation? So most of the time, people have been juggling between test automation and test manual execution. So, for instance, I'll say that we have so much advantage, and most companies would prefer to have test automation besides manual test automation. Our previous speaker said that we need to have a mindset of a developer, a tester, and a skills for developer to be able to be a test automation. I feel that that's the right way, or maybe that's it, because in our field, or maybe in our companies, we find that we are needed to ensure that we get it right. So the first point is time saving. So I'll say that in the market, like, every company has a cycle in which that you're supposed to release your products, or maybe even if I can say, like, a frame time that you need to release. Maybe I can take this situation, say, like, every month we receive monthly updates, both security and non-security updates for Windows. So for that, you have a timeline to ensure that before you release that, you need to have everything fixed. And remember, most company you have a certain period for the developers to work on the software, and then we have a certain period for the testers to ensure that everything the developer did it's in line. Like it's a bug-free software. So if you have that cycle, you need to ensure that you take the shortest time possible before you exceed your ETA. So ensure that to ensure that you have your ETA set, you need to find a ways in which that you can save time. So for manual testing, it's more of a human interaction with the software. So for that, you'll take more time compared to when you write scripts. So you let your script run the scenario. So you'll find that you're doing most testing using the automation compared to the manual testing, which involves the human. So it's a big plus for in terms of time saving. So I'll urge people like everybody, like nowadays almost 34% of the companies have managed to set up the test automation for their product. So it's something that it's still growing, it's not yet there. We still have so many companies doing manual execution, and from time to time they delay their production ETA, and maybe you can say that you lose in the market. So time saving is very key when it comes to test automation. Another thing, test coverage. While you're doing your test, you have your product. You need to ensure that you've captured each and every scenarios. Like for instance, if you have a feature in Windows that you need to test, you need to ensure that that feature is fully tested. I will say that it will be time consuming, or rather it will be hectic if you are doing that manually. If you are going through each and every feature, and remember, this is a cycle that if you do today, is something that you do it the next cycle and over. So it will be hectic at the long run. So for the test coverage, you can do your script, ensure that your script covers, or maybe your test suites have scenarios that cover almost all the scenarios, or maybe all the areas in that particular feature, so that even if I have to test to see the functionality of Cortana, that it is working fine, I have to increase my scripts and ensure that each and every area is being covered. For instance, even if I have test cases that I need to use it to cover a certain feature, I'll be tempted once in a while to ignore some factors because of different issues. Maybe I'm doing a scenario that probably it's due on maybe tomorrow, but I still have plenty of work to do in terms of testing. So I'll either rush through it and missing out a lot of things, or maybe just like giving the final say that you've tested this and this and this. So you'll fail to go through all the processes to ensure that you've captured everything. But for if you have a script that does that, it will ensure that it captures everything that you've instructed to sort. Another thing is the usability. I think I've also captured that. If you have the process that you do each and every cycle, if you have your script, you'll be running them each and every cycle. Yeah, doing that manually, it also, in a way, will be tiring, and they will prevent you from going deeper or maybe having a quality testing. Manual is cheaper, but in the long run, it will be the other way around, because having those tools, creating those scripts, it will be expensive when you start, but at the long run, you'll understand that it has saved you a lot of effort, it has saved you a lot of resources, because if you have scenarios that are being automated, you won't need a lot of people to do them manually. And then another thing, eliminating human mistake. I think I've also captured that. What I'll say is we are human, and sometimes we make decisions based on the current situation that we are in. So at times I'll feel like I'm in the mode of testing. I'll do a thorough job, and at times I'll feel like I have a short time, or maybe I have other things that I'm doing. Uh, that maybe I have to sort it at the same time. I have my scenarios to run, so I'll be tempted to maybe make mistakes or maybe rush through it and maybe not getting the bugs that we need to get. So, automation of a manual testing. The first is the definition. I'll say that automation testing uses automation tools to execute test cases. For the other side, we use more of a human intervention, like you write, or maybe you have test cases that guide you towards how you test maybe your application or any feature. So for that. Yeah, that's the definition. Then another difference that I'll make is the processing time. I've said that automation testing is way faster compared to manual testing. You've seen it clearly. Like if maybe you have a certain feature that has let's say you have the settings feature on Windows that you need to test. Settings feature is so huge; it has a lot of things. Others are deep. So for that, if I'm doing and another thing I'll say that the automation that I'm talking here is not only the automation whereby you write script, because if I have Windows and I need to test some functionality, maybe I need to test on the let's say Microsoft Store. So for that, it's more instructions that needs to be given. It's not a must I write script. For that, I can use the robotic approach. We have Power Automate. Power Automate is a tool. It's very useful. You can see it on the Microsoft page. Power Automate, it does a lot. Like you just give it instructions and you automate the process instead of you clicking here, going to the Microsoft Store, checking if it can be able to download something, or maybe checking if it can be able to update your apps. You can use Power Automate for that, and you for that you can use Power Automate for that, and you give it instructions for it to be able to do that for you. So my automation is a general automation that I'm talking. Like I'm comparing general automation versus the manual testing, which involves the human maybe human interaction of the scenarios. So I'll go to exploratory testing. Entails like a situation whereby I have a feature that I'm supposed to test, and for this feature, it's more of a UI related. Like I have to check how its performance is in terms of the UI that the user will be using. So for this situation, for automation testing, I think I'll get more of it using the manual testing, because I can do more. I can do some hard hoc testing in which the automation testing will just follow the script. Like the script that you've given does how it will follow. But for manual testing, at least in this point, you can be able to do some hard hoc testing. That's why we encourage those people who are doing automation testing to have some maybe knowledge of a manual tester. Like you take it to yourself. Like even if I'm writing this script, this is what I expect at the end of it. But you have other aspect to consider. You have to see like it's my it's something that you own, like on the test execution. Once you own the test execution, these are things that will come in play. You are automation test engineer, so what you need to do is to consider other things that cannot be covered by the scripts that you write. So these things, if they cannot be covered, you can have some times to go and do some hard hoc testing, and maybe see, because there you never know. There is where you can find bugs that maybe has been missed out by the script that you had created. So for manual testing, is manual testing not enough? It's never enough. I'll say that, because from what I've spoken, like you can have a good scope of manual testing, but still not enough. You can be in a good domain and project, but focuses on manual testing, but still not enough. You still have to figure out a way that you make the automation testing better, because these all the advantages that I've talked about, it will come in play. You can have work that can be automated in future, but I'll say that it's never impossible to say that some things can't be automated. Manual testing is, I would say it like it has a lot of advantages. So I'm not taking it away from anybody who's doing manual testing. In fact, I have a team that we both do manual and automation testing. So we have scenarios that we've automated and scenarios that are still doing it we're doing manually. So for that, like if you work together, like that's the end goal. Like we need to ensure that every feature that is being released, it's error free, like there's no bugs. So we can't guarantee that only automation can give us an error free feature or maybe update, but we need to also have the manual testing. And I said, if you are a test automation engineer and you learn more of manual testing, there's no much of a big deal, because if you know how to write your scripts, or sorry, your test cases, and maybe follow the instruction, then that is okay. But you need to have a mindset of a tester. Like you need to know that like you need to understand like why are you doing this. Like if, for instance, I'm being given a feature to on maybe as testing, you need to own that. You need to be someone who feels like if this goes out to the market and maybe an issue has been raised, it is my mistake. Like you own it. That's how we get quality testing. Own it and ensure that this what makes you a tester. You need to ensure that everything that you do, make it be serious. Like let it be quality enough. Ensure that each and every scenarios that you're taking is very very important. Even just clicking or maybe launching an application that you use for testing is very very important, because bugs are not like they do not come out shouting that I'm a bug. You have to dig deeper and ensure that there's no feature. Like it's always bad when you have something released to the market and you find that there's an issue being raised by the customer. It's very like it's the confidence of the company is at play here, because if people say that we have a company and they release features or they release product or they release softwares that there are bugs or errors, it will tarnish the name of the company. So most companies have ensured that they have a full set of test engineers to ensure that all this is being covered. So I think one thing that I'll say for me, I started out as a manual tester. That was back in 2019 when Microsoft actually created its first Microsoft Engineering Center back in 2018. So by then I was still in campus and I was inclined to be part of it. So once I was done, I did my application, and fortunate enough I was successful to be there. But that was just I felt it was a beginning of a journey that I've started, and I've started it well. So I felt like for me to be able to build myself or being somebody that is outstanding, like if you're given a chance, never waste it. So all my entire time I normally I was like outspoken. I own every execution that I was given by my lead. I own everything that I knew it's up to me. So through that, I will be able to create more suggestions, more idea. Like you need to be that person that you are bringing impact to a certain organization that you're in. Like I had to be that person to ensure that we are growing as a team. Like through this effort is when that 3 or 4 months ago I was now selected as the lead for my team, and I felt like it's still a stepping stone, or maybe still a ladder that I'm still climbing. I'm not yet there. I'm still pushing it in. I'm still doing my best in terms of quality assurance, because we are still needed each and every time. It's just a matter of time, and you'll see all companies employing, or maybe creating a department of software testing. So you'll see that you can have like 7% of the companies that probably have not yet started either manual testing or test automation. But at the long run, it will be very, very important. Every company, trust me, they'll be implementing that. So there's a lot of opportunity for a test engineer. So ensure that every time, like I saw on the comment, somebody say that I did a STQB certification, which is very, very good. Such certification, they are just awesome and sure. But also, one thing that you need to remember is the technology is changing day in, day out. So you need to understand, like, have a point of focus. Like, for instance, if I knew I wanted to be a software tester in Microsoft, so you have to study that company. What do they do? What do they produce? Like, what technologies do they utilize? Like, ensure that you have a point of focus. So through that, give yourself a timeline. For instance, you can say that I'm targeting to go to Google. So after you've done your homework on how Google operates, the kind of software they produce, and all that, you now start learning towards it. So, for instance, I'll say that you all know that there's a cloud space for Microsoft, that is Microsoft Azure. So, a lot of things are heading there. We are also pushing most of the software there. So for that, it's very essential to learn Microsoft Azure. You can even start with the fundamentals before going to the admin and all that. Like, we are going cloud. Like, everything now is going cloud. So if you've been doing testing on maybe a certain type of application that are not on cloud, ensure that you start learning. It's an added advantage if you are going for an interview and you have a cloud knowledge and you're a tester, because testing does not limit to any application. It's wide. It's everything now. Even the Azure cloud, it's maybe it's a space for testing. So just a matter of advice, ensure that you have a point of focus, and always ensure that you go to it. Like, you keep your effort and ensure that this is what I'm trying to achieve in the long run. So uh, if you see that, if you have that target, it will be very easy for you to go for it. So I'll advise you guys, if you have anything, like you set yourself a target for yourself, give it, like, depending on you, you can say, like, in 6 months I want to see myself here. For instance, maybe you are working in maybe in a certain company that you're not feeling it, or maybe, or rather, you're not feeling you like you're growing and you need to go to a growing company. So ensure that you have a plan, and that's what matters. If you have a plan and you work towards it, you will eventually achieve it. So I think that's it from my side.
Cyprian,
Yeah,
are you
thank
done with your presentation? I thought you still wanted to share about the survey for automation and stuff. Have you talked
Oh,
about
sorry. Okay, so
Yeah, it's on the screen already. You
oh,
can just go.
on the screen.
sorry. Okay, so for the survey that I took from a site, I was doing some studies. I saw that we have 34.53% of the companies that we have that were more than halfway. Like, they have done 50% of the automation. They've let's say have 50% automated their system, and this is a huge percentage, because years ago testing wasn't a point of focus. It was something by the way, like that testing was for the developer. Like you develop your system, you test it. Like if you have a pool of developers, you guys plan yourself on how you do your test, from the unit testing, from the regression testing. Like it wasn't let's say a department set aside for test engineers. Like we have the test engineers handling the products that are being developed by sorry, the product being developed by the developers. So that 4% have now created that notion like we need to have a department of testers so that they can be able to test what the developers have developed. So it's a process whereby it moves from the developer to the tester before it goes to the market. So that's it. Then we also have 25% who've made a solid start and have about 25% automation. So they're not yet there. It's just like say they've managed like let's say 25% only. We have 17.26 who've just begin to think about it. Like for instance, you sit down and say, hey, last time we released our product to the market and we had so much feedback from people saying that we have maybe the login page coming up with error. We have this feature coming up with error. So these are people like these are percentage that people are thinking on how to start it. So it's a good percentage, as I'd say. So if you see companies start thinking about how to be able to start that automation testing, or rather start to have a different department in testing, you realize that there are a lot of opportunity, and you just need to push yourself towards it. You need to ensure that you are among the people that are utilizing this opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity in software testing, I can't say that. And you'll bear witness with me, there's been interviews day in, day out. So we also have 12.4% who are in the finish line and nearly fully automated. This is a small number, as you can say. From 100%, you only have 12% who are, let's say, they're there, and maybe not stable, but they're there. So it's entirely up to us to be able to have this uh, percentage to be able to have confidence in themselves. So it's entirely up to the test automation engineers to be able to push it to complete the finish line.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cyprian. Wow. Amazing session we have there. Amazing session. Okay, guys, before we ask Cyprian his question, please, if you just tell us the things that have jumped at you so far. I have a question here, Cyprian, for you. So you said you sound Kenyan. I don't know. Are you Kenyan? So John got it right. Fantastic. Okay, so for the part you said test automation eliminates human mistakes. So what about when the software is running an old version for a new application? Would there be errors in that situation?
Yep. So if you have about when the software is running an old version for a new application, yeah. So every time we have softwares, like if you have a software that you need to test, definitely you'll be doing some update on that, because it's true. And there will be a lot of errors if you have that deficit of running an old version into a new application. So this is whereby you come in and have an update. The developers do an update, and for you need to change. A script to be able to effect on that specific update that has been done on the old version, because definitely there'll be errors. Like there'll be that conflict whereby you're doing an old thing in a new environment, so that will be there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Cyprian. That brings me to where a place where they say that putting new wine in old wine skin would ultimately tear the wine bag, right? So yeah, you're right. There will definitely be errors. Okay, so Rolly says, how does test automation have a higher test coverage since not all part of the application is automated?
Okay, so let me take that. When I say that it has a higher test coverage, it's for instance, I know the application that I'm testing, or maybe a software that I'm testing. So if I'm creating that script for that specific software, I'll ensure that it covers everything. Like take it in a way that this is a system that I've automated. This is a person that is doing my test execution. So like if I go and write script that it will capture, like it will test almost everything in my application, and I have somebody that is doing my test execution, there'll be a difference because we are human, and despite of us, like most of us doing the right thing and doing quality work, you'll have people not getting samples. Like if you write your test cases, you can write test cases to reach a certain level, and even that level sometimes it will be hard for you to reach. Maybe you'll get up to three quarter and say that I think this software is good because from here it can't have any bugs or any error. So but to prevent that, if you've automated a script, it will never miss anything. Everything that you've instructed the system to do, it will do 100% without failing or maybe skipping any step. But for human, you can find yourself one or two times skipping something, so the coverage will be different in this scenario.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. All right. So thank you so much, Cyprian, for the time. It's been amazing learning from you. One of the things that really stood out for me was the survey where you said about 12.48% are fully automated and 34.53 are more than halfway there. This basically means that a number of companies are just going the automation way, guys. So you know that you just have to be an automation tester, right? You can't afford to still stick in your old ways of manual testing. So, guys, automation is the way right now. If you can, almost 50% of companies are already, on that journey. You don't want to be left out. If not, you'll just probably be back there looking for jobs. But before we bring in Madam Tommy, I don't know, guys, can you drop the things that have jumped out at you so far? We've had three speakers give us impressive knowledge, what they've learned so far, how it's been for them in the industry. So what are the things you've learned so far? Let's just, tell me some of the things that has jumped at you. Talk to me, guys. John, Rolly, talk to me from Iowa, Victoria, Kehinde. Tell me what are the things that you've learned so far in this in the few, I think we are now about 1 hour 30 minutes into this, and it's been deep, I must say, very, very deep. So what are you guys? Okay, so before you guys, while I'm waiting for you guys to drop a comment, I must say that thank you guys to our speakers, Demola, Emmanuel, Cyprian. Thank you so, so much for these things that you've taught us so far. I mean, I'm just here and my mind is just blown already because I've been scared of automating, learning automation, just like coding and all that. But now I know that it's either I do it or I do it. If I don't do it, I'm just going to turn out to be one of the old school people, right? So thank you for changing my mindset. Miracle says that he knows that one of the things he has learned is you should know your manual testing well and you should skill up in automation. Thank you. Manual testing is not enough. Definitely not enough. If you're looking to keep rising, climbing the ladder, you should know that manual testing is not enough. You need to up your skills, skill up. Okay. So I'll just give us like 2-3 minutes to just relax before I bring the next speaker. So we'll just play music for a bit and then we'll jump back in. Don't go anywhere. Just listen to the music. Use it to relax. If you need to drink water, go drink water. Okay. So just 2 minutes to just relax and get ready for the next speaker. I hope you guys are dancing because I am dancing. Listen, I can see you dancing, right? Hey. I hope you guys are dancing wherever you are. Or at least you just, doing something to just relax. Hey, hey, hey. You guys, the next two speakers are going to just be, it's going to be hot. So this is the time for you to just chill, drink water, and prepare for the next two sessions that we have. You can drop emojis in the comment section. Let's know how you're feeling. Dancing, jumping. It's hot in here. If for energy, just drop something in the comments. You guys, I will not stop playing music until people drop comments. Just go. You want me to go? You should drop comments. All right, guys. Okay, so good vibes. Thank you. If I see really too much. They have me. Thank you. Good vibes. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I'm feeling myself already. I see Victoria dropping emojis. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Well done, guys. B for vibes. Hey, Rolly. All right, guys. So without further ado, let's go to our next speaker. I hope you guys are ready because I am ready. See, this woman she's loaded. That's what I can tell you guys. She is loaded. Let me just read that bio before we start presenting, okay? So Oluwatomi Lodney, I hope I got that right, ma'am, has over 7 years of experience in leading software quality assurance processes and activities, as well as championing compliance of software products to meet the functional requirements. She is passionate about delivering real values to clients, which she does through proactively providing improvements and recommendations, as well as developing an automation framework to assess the quality of software while ensuring speedy resolutions of the defect found. So this profile is like small thing in the thing that she does, But currently she is the senior test automation engineer at remote.com. Ma'am, I know you're here. Yeah, I think you're muted already. We can't see your face. We'd like to see your face. Please, let's see your face. Let's see your face.
My camera is on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Can you see me now?
Not yet, ma'am. It's still dark. It's still dark. But I guess you can, while your camera, I don't know, read. While that is trying to come up, you can just, take it away. We still can't see your face though. Okay. So I think she's probably having issues with her network. So yeah, so let's just talk about all the comments I'm seeing here. Chisom says, Snipex on Postman helped me a lot on the journey of automation. Just learned that I have to put in more energy in automation to stand out in the tech industry. Yes, that's it. Oh, fantastic. I can see your face now. Hi, ma'am. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
hi. I don't know your name. I didn't catch your name.
Eniola.
Okay. Yes, Eniola. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Oluwatomi Familoni, and I'll be talking briefly about how to be a sought-after test automation engineer. I feel the previous speakers have already talked about this already. They've laid a very good foundation already for me to just build on, and I want to focus on those of us that are switching from probably another career path, probably from literature, for example, and you're trying to look at QA. Is it a career for me? Excuse me. Is it a career for me? They've been talking about automation. It sounds very difficult. And I just want to use this opportunity to say that it's not as difficult. Yes, it's demanding, it's challenging, but I want to encourage you that it's very possible to pick up automation and be a guru at it. Okay, so can we start the slides, please? Okay, so this is just a brief description about me. They've read the profile already. You can reach me on those platforms. Next slide, please. So during this presentation, I'll be looking at 4 different aspects about test automation. Who is a test automation engineer? Why do we want to pick up test? Why should we? I believe our previous speakers have already, they've said a lot already about it. I'll just probably be emphasizing a few points. Then how? They've said so many tools, they said so many frameworks. How can I pick it up? How can I start? Especially if I'm moving from another career path. I don't even have any foundation in tech or math. I was not a science student in secondary school. What do I need to do? How do I even start? What path should I take? So I'll be looking at that. And then what should I be learning? What should I be doing? So that's what we'll be looking at during this presentation. And who is a test automation engineer? Our previous speakers have talked about giving different explanations, definitions. And the first definition here I provided was an automation engineer is just someone who is responsible for testing software using automated tools and framework. What I want us to derive from this definition is that because you are a test automation engineer doesn't mean that you are not still responsible for testing software. Yes, you are going to be writing code. Yes, you are going to be trying to automate the test process, but you are also responsible for testing software, and you are just employing the means of scripts, code just to achieve your goal. I also provided another definition, the next slide. I talked about designing and writing. Yes, we've talked about writing, but I want us to know that there is an aspect that involves designing, like having a strategy, planning ahead, designing, okay, how do I, what kind of model do I want to use? Do I want to use page object model? What are the advantages of this? If we've heard our previous speakers say different kind of tools, different. So as an engineer, you're not just, they said we should write code, you're copying and pasting, just copying and I know how to write code, and that's not what it means to be an engineer. You are designing, you are planning ahead, you are strategizing, and you are writing programs just so that you can help test the quality of existing and new software. We are also trying to validate the functionality. We are not just looking at web, we are looking at mobile API, just trying to employ frameworks just for you to achieve your goal. Then why should we consider picking up test automation? I believe that many of our speakers have already, they've done a lot already. Why should we consider picking up test automation? We've gathered from our previous speakers that, first of all, test automation will make our work more efficient. It will help us to be more efficient. It will help us to be more effective. Doing something manually will take a longer time, a longer period to get it done. If we have like I don't know, some of us might be working in probably a team where there's just maybe one product and probably it's a web application and there are just probably 7 pages. But if you are working in a team that you have so many features, a lot of rules behind it, at back end, a lot of rules, a lot of scenarios to cover. Even if you are three testers, manual testers on a team, you might not be able to get everything done on time. And so automation saves time and money, just like our previous speakers have talked about. Your fewer errors, our speakers have talked about test coverage. You're able to cover many scenarios within shorter time if you compare it to doing it manually. I believe that our speakers have talked about the demand for automation engineer. The previous speaker talked about the survey did. There's a demand for automation engineers. Companies are wanting to automate their process, and we've just like some of the people, my viewers have mentioned, oh, it's old school to be doing everything with your hand again. So it's being an automation engineer is like you are planning for the future. You are trying to do things in vogue, kind of. Then I also mentioned that there are fewer prestigious roles for manual testers. Yes, companies are still looking out for manual testers, but I don't know, Nigerians on the WhatsApp platform, I don't know if you've been looking at the job descriptions of opportunities, vacancies. I don't know if you've been observing that many of these companies are requesting for people that have skills and expertise in test automation framework. So sometimes I know that some companies they overdo it, and you're probably asking for the job description is like describing like 3 teams, not even 3 people, 3 teams. I know sometimes they would overdo it, but we should be able to deduce that companies don't no longer want to leave things just to manual testing. They want to automate their processes and all of that. Another reason why we should consider picking up test automation is that it helps your collaboration with your engineers, the other members of DevOps, especially when there's already an existing framework already. Probably you're joining a new team, you already have a test automation a suite already. You are able to collaborate with them. Once you are technically oriented, you can flow with them. Okay, the engineer can go into the repo, edit it. I fix something, and then you can flow. Okay, yes, I understand. Yes, why not? You can provide solutions. You can provide recommendations because you are technically oriented. Being a test automation engineer is not just about writing scripts alone. um, we have, I believe Badmos also talked about CI/CD. That also is still under our purview as test automation engineer. So you are able to flow. There's synergy with other members of the team. You can flow. You are not, so they're not saying something and you are looking at them first. They are wondering if maybe you froze or something. You are still finding it hard to understand, but because you are technically oriented, you understand. You have basics of coding or programming. You're able to flow. You can synergize with the other members of the team. And then I mentioned about the remuneration. Yes, being a test automation engineer is very, very lucrative. We've mentioned that there is high demand for test automation engineers, and so there's companies are willing to pay as much as they can to get the best hands on their team. So I want us, those of us that are still wondering, it's like QA is very hard to decide we should learn code. Is it for me? I want you to look at all these advantages, the remuneration, being able to provide value with your team. You are very valuable to even members of DevOps, the engineers themselves. So I want you to look at that. Then I moved on to saying, how do we pick up test automation? What's the best strategy? Where do I start from? Okay, I just heard about QA like 3 months ago. It looks like something that I might be interested in, but they also mentioned I have to pick up test automation. What do I do? So I've written a timeline here, the long journey. Yes, I think this journey here is something that some of us, some of us probably went through. Some people were probably lucky enough to come from background. Probably they were engineers before. I know people, friends of mine that were software engineers before. They didn't have to go through this route. They're very good at programming and all of that. So when they just came into QA field, they just started. What they just had to learn was how to think like a tester, think like a customer, trying to break things, trying to ask the right question, trying to be inquisitive, trying to understand usability. Well, those people were very lucky to start that route. But um, what if I'm from a non-tech background? How do I start? And I wrote this timeline, but I'm not saying this is the standard, but I just want to emphasize that it's a very long journey. But then you are starting gradually. You are starting probably with this record and play. We have Catalan. We apart from Catalan, we have Selenium IDE. You are trying to just record and play. You are observing. I just want to mention that this record and play is not actually really obtainable in many teams, but it's just, I feel it's just a way that you can probably start just to have a feel, especially if you're not from a tech background. Once you are done with learning how to the manual testing, how to break the application, how to provide recommendations, how to understand the business idea, the reason behind certain rules in the application. Once you are done with that and you feel, okay, it's time for me to pick automation, you might want to start trying out the record and play Catalan. Okay, oh, okay, automation means I'm just trying to repeat the process using automated tools. You are trying that out. Then you might want to look at BDD plus Gherkin. Gherkin, you are using human language like English, like given that a user provides the correct email, correct password, the user should be able to log in. So you are using English language. is a bit higher than record and play, then we probably can. When I mean copy and paste, that means I know that some of us, we are QAs. We say we are QAs. We are currently in a team. There was already a framework already there. There's a existing framework. The team, or probably somebody that was in the company 2 years, 3 years ago, already set up a test automation framework, and you are just going there. Okay, they said we've released a new feature now. Okay, I'm supposed to write a test to cover this scenario. Okay, and you just go there to the framework, you pick, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, and because you have an idea of what you're able to flow a bit, but that is still, we are still not there. If you are doing that, I'm not trying to condemn you if you are doing that, but I feel that there's still a higher level. I know you are copying and pasting, you understand how it flows, but you are still not there. I don't know if you can hear me, please. Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
We can
okay. I
hear
just want to
you.
be sure that we are following. Okay, so you are still not there. If you are still copying and pasting, okay, okay. I just changed probably you are doing maybe a test automation framework for an API, and just say, okay, we are starting for the response code is okay for that test was 500. Okay, I'm just changing it to 200. You are just copying out. You are not yet there. I just want to tell you that there's still a higher step. Then we have the rudiments of programming, going ahead to learn the rudiments of programming. This cannot be overemphasized. It's very important that you understand what programming, the rules, the syntax, just the what do they even mean by inheritance, things like that. And then you are now, after you have really understood, okay, if you feel Java programming language is what you want to pick up, then you understand it well, and then you now start picking up test automation framework. We have so many framework, and I personally always advise people, if you want to pick up a framework, especially if you are working, you're already employed somewhere, I suggest that, okay, yes, you are learning something, pick up a framework that you can easily practice. Probably maybe your team, you're already using Selenium WebDriver, pick up Selenium WebDriver and ensure you are practicing, you pick it up, you learn it and learn it very well. And then you are apart from picking up test automation framework, you are now adding automation framework to CI/CD. So for some teams, some international teams, or some other teams too, they have DevOps specialists, and okay, in my field, there's no need to even know what CI/CD is about. Okay, they are already we have what we call site reliability engineers. Don't worry, they will help us. And if you have any issue, they will help us solve it. But I want you to know that it's very, very important that you also know what the pipeline is about. Okay, when I push my code, it's failing. Where do I even check the recorded video? How do I let me look at what happened? Why did it fail? And things like that. So that's like the long journey. So what's the ultimate goal for picking up test automation? Is it that I just want to be copying and pasting so that I can just collect salary? I want to say that the ultimate goal for you as a test automation engineer is to get to a stage where you can provide your team, not just the QA team, and the development team, with an overall automation strategy. Okay, they say probably the engineering manager comes and says, okay, the management have said there's a new project we need to work on. There's a business opportunity, millions of dollars are involved, and then okay, we are stressed. Probably development team, they're already looking at what kind of tools they want to use. You too, as a test automation engineer, you are thinking of, okay, what kind of framework would be optimal and actually maximize and actually achieve the goal that we are trying to achieve here. What can I do? What kind of how do we do it? Okay, there's going to be OTP. What do I use this time around? There's going to be OTP involved. How do we validate that the user actually gets the OTP? How do we do all the authentication? And you are providing suggestions. So that should be the goal, not just assert, click, submit. That is just, that's a means, but that's not the end. The end is that you are like an expert providing suggestion on the best strategy for the development team to take. Then we are moving to how. I want to also mention that for those of us that are moving from another career path, is it possible for me to learn this test automation on time. The way everybody they've been mentioning so many tools since morning. The first speaker talked about Cypress. Somebody else talked about Selenium. There's so many. I've been hearing about Protractor. I've been hearing about Playwright. Which one should I even pick? How do I even learn everything? Yeah, does this mean that I would spend like 8 years before I even understand something? No, it's actually very possible for you to pick it up within 3 months, 3 to 6 months. And if you are put in the work that is required, I believe that 6 months, 3 to 6 months is even enough for you to be be very good at it. Only if you are ready to put the work that is required. So this next slide, I talked about like specific ways on how to actually start, and I group them into two categories. The first category, we have 3 items. Being self-taught. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay. Being self-taught is either you burn the midnight candle, you look for a course on Udemy and you are watching it. I saw, so I think a week ago, I saw like a meme on the funny picture with a child, a toddler, a baby with several apples. He ate out of it. It's like there were like 10 apples and they are taking a bite out of the 10 apples. And it was so relatable to me because when I started out as a automation engineer too, I, I actually like tried so many courses. That's one of even actually the disadvantage because you being self-taught can be very slow, kind of. Can be slow. It's a bit challenging, but I just mentioned that it's either you are self-taught, and of course you must be ready to put in the work. It's either you are self-taught and you get mentors. Probably you have a team lead in your company, and then you say, okay, which one should I learn? The person says, okay, take this course, try this, go this route. First of all, pick Java, and it probably sends you link, and then person is following up with you, giving you assignments. Is either you do that or you probably download a course online and then you are practicing at work. You are trying to get things done. You watch a video. Okay, for example, your QA team lead says, and we need to there's a new feature, we need someone to help us automate the whatever, and you volunteer. I'm interested. And then as you watch the video, you look at it at one side. Okay, you are repeating it. You watch, you repeat. So that can be a bit slow as well. It's either you go those route or you enroll at an automation school. And I believe the next speaker will be talking about it. Of course, you have probably have a dedicated teacher giving you assignments. It's actually faster, in my opinion. So I mentioned some of the challenges of being self-taught. I might have explained it while I was giving my explanation. First of all, achieving mastery can take a very long time and requires energy. Yes, trying to understand, especially if you don't probably are from a non-tech background, probably you're not even a science student, probably it was political science you studied, and you are trying to master probably let's say you want to start with Java, it might take a longer time compared to someone that goes to a school and then say, okay, this is it. If you are, what I'm trying to say that the two people are investing the same kind of energy, it might take a longer time if you are being self-taught. Another challenge is that when you are taking a course, okay, you finished one course. Wow, I'm an expert. Yes. Oh, yes, I'm an expert. And the funny thing is that you've only taken only one course. There are several, just like the previous speaker talked about, you're still learning every day. You can never say you have learned it enough. Oh, I know everything. And sometimes if you are self-taught, you feel that you've known everything until probably you get to a job or get to an interview and then they ask you to explain, so they give you an exercise and then it now dawns on you that actually it's not like I know everything. So these are some of the challenges. And then the third one I mentioned was that it might be hard to know, okay, I've learned this part, there's still an aspect, there's still an angle to it. And so those are the challenges of being alone in one corner trying to pick up this skill. So what do I need to do to be a sought after automation engineer? Sought after means they are calling after maybe when you open your LinkedIn on your probably on your browser, and then you're just hearing beep sound. Probably several talent acquisition specialists are just sending you a message. Please, ma'am. Good day, ma'am. We saw your profile, we are very impressed. We would like to, are you interested? And you have like 10 of that in your inbox. So that's what it means to be. That's an example of being sought after. Probably people are reaching how far, how much are they paying? You can double it. That means you are actually sought after. Everybody wants to work with you because you are highly skilled. You are providing value. So first of all, I thought how to be sought after. I mentioned the first thing is rudiments of programming. I've mentioned that the previous speakers have talked about it, knowing not just how to use a framework, not just okay, I know Cypress, I know okay, I can copy and paste. I know how to assign. It's not just to click. That's not, you are not there yet. You need to go back if you are in that table. You need to go back and probably take a course on if it's Java and try to actually understand the basics and rudiments of and fundamentals of programming. Mr. Badmos gave us an example of somebody interviewed and he submitted in. I'm sure we are all aware that many international companies before they hire you, they'll give you tests. Either you are sharing your screen live, you're writing it live, or they give you an assignment in advance, you submit, and then you are going to be called to defend it. And Mr. Badmos mentioned that there was someone that provided a good, perfect solution. He used the right framework. He understood. I think he said Selenium. But then when the CTO asked him that why did he use this data type, he didn't even know what data type was. And that is why I feel you should, so that you're not in that kind of situation, you should understand the rudiments of programming. So that even if you need to enter the repo for engineers, you can see their unit tests. I experienced something like 2 weeks ago. I was trying to write an automated test for one of our UI. We use Cypress at my current employment, and I was just okay. Before I even write this test, let me even see if they've done unit tests for it. Let me even so that I'm not repeating, duplicating effort. If the engineer has covered this scenario, there's no need for me to be writing another test, especially if it's not UI related kind of. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So because I had understanding of programming, I just opened the repo, went through the unit test. Okay, it's covered. Okay, it didn't cover this part. Or probably missed that out. Okay, let me just try my test to complement what he did. So those are some of the reasons or instances of why you need to understand the rudiments of programming. Then I mentioned flexibility. What does it mean to be flexible? So I just want for those of us that are starting out a career in QA, I want to say that if you decide to pick Selenium today and say, okay, I want to understand Selenium, I want to really understand it. The next job, let's say in 3 years' time, or the next company will most likely not be using the same. We might be lucky, they might be using the same tool, but the next company you are joining might be using a different tool, or they might even be using the same tool, but they are using a different, probably a different model entirely. And once you understand, this is even buttressing the fact why you need to really understand the basics. Once you understand programming itself, switching to another framework will not be so difficult. It might just take you probably 1 or 2 weeks. You are looking at their existing framework, you're looking at it, okay, you understand what they are saying because you already have the understanding of the basic foundation of programming. Then I mentioned having the perfect blend of manual and automation skills. Some of the companies I've worked with, engineers, I mean backend and software engineers write tests. As in my way I currently work, we have about 180 engineers and like 4 QAs. So what does that mean? That means the QA is not actually the one writing all the tests. So what value do you have to put on the table? Is it just to be writing submit, click, assert that you can see there's a word success or something like that? It's much more than just writing code. It's much more than just repeating, trying to, I've written 10 tests, I'm a guru. That's, you're not there yet. Having a perfect blend of manual and automation skills, okay, you understand how to break. You're asking the question, even before looking at the platform, you're asking, why did we go this route? You are asking intelligent questions, and those questions are even making the engineers that implemented the solution to even ask themselves, why did you even go this route? Why did we? Okay. So those are the kind of questions, the kind of value they are expecting you to provide. So that's why I want us to also be cautious not to be carried away with I now know how to code, but you have to be able to blend your testing skills and automation skills. So that means if you are this is the first time you're hearing about QA, yes, you want to pick up automation, but you should also learn the art of testing. It's not I don't believe everybody can like test effectively. There's a way to think. There's a mindset. Just like I think Sir Emmanuel talked about. There's a mindset of being a tester. Another way to be sought after is being able to collaborate effectively. We have what we call peer programming, we have troubleshooting. What's peer programming? I know some companies use peer programming as a way to test their candidates, but what is peer programming in like when you are in a team? So, for example, probably did you wrote a test, automation a script, and then probably you're having issues or something, and then because you are working remotely, your boss or your colleague, you ask your colleague to please come and see what I wrote. And then you can, two of you can collaborate and it's telling, okay, move that class to that, whatever. Then import that, then try to assert that. And it's saying so many things, but you probably just crammed the framework or you probably don't even understand the basics. I mean, you're saying you should do something and you can't even flow effectively for you to be sought after, you must be able to peer with other colleagues. They should be able to tell you, okay, when they are reviewing your code, they just tell you, do this, do that, do this. This is not an effective way. You should be able to, well, even if you don't know what they are saying, you go check Stack Overflow, and you're able to, from the example or solution provided on Stack Overflow, you can implement something very similar to what and try to achieve what you are working on at that moment. So being able to collaborate effectively, troubleshooting. For example, your test is breaking on pipeline and you're checking, okay, you're looking at artifacts, you're watching the video, okay, you're thinking, oh, okay, oh, actually our test was too fast. You're able to troubleshoot, okay, Cypress is actually too fast. We don't want to put delays. Okay, how do we do it such a way that we don't implicitly put a delay? How do we do that? And you are able to troubleshoot, and I feel that is one of the qualities we need to have in order for us to be highly sought after. And then I mentioned practice, practice, practice. Our previous speakers have mentioned that they have not gotten there yet. The previous speaker is actually the manager at Microsoft QA, and he's saying that he still has a lot to learn. So even if you feel that you have expertise in a tool now, you still need to continue learning. And I feel for those of us who are starting our career, probably maybe you are just 1 year or you are considering QA, that's a very good way to actually practice. There are so many, for example, for me, I've learned, there are so many tools I've learned. I've worked with Apium. It has been a while since I've worked with a team that they do mobile testing. So I've learned a lot. I've tried out Protractor. But if you learn everything and you're not practicing with it daily, you might lose those kind of skills. So once you are probably you are already employed, volunteer. I want to say we need someone to come up with a framework or volunteer to be part of the team, volunteer to provide solution, be interested. And for those of us that are just starting our career and probably you are not even employed yet, if you hear there's a free internship somewhere, please don't wait for anybody. Be the first person to enroll for that free internship so that you can learn and practice. Nowadays, even if we speak to, I've been speaking with some CTOs and all of that, asking them, okay, how is there any free internship? Or most of them, everybody wants someone that they don't need to spoon feed, and so that you are not someone that the employers are running away from. Pick up volunteer positions, pick up probably enroll in test all this crowdsourcing platform so that I can practice and be better at it. Yeah, I also know that there are some platforms, some websites where you can practice, you can write test against. I know there's one I'm trying to remember for APIs now. I've forgotten. Is it placeholder? So I'll try to probably send it later. So there are so many free applications online that you can, of course, practice with, even if you are not employed yet. And then I mentioned that frequently assess yourself, attend webinars. Being in tech, you don't have the luxury of saying that I don't know how to mix. I'm an introvert. Please, sir, please, ma, you can't be an introvert. If you are in tech, you need to assess, mingle. We are grateful for the platform we have as QA engineers. Just in case you don't know, we have a WhatsApp group for QA engineers in Nigeria. Almost about 500 people are there. So you can't go wrong. If you're not sure of something, drop a question on the WhatsApp platform, attend webinars. Once, if they're talking about something in the community, their community conversations, participate, ask. Don't be shy to ask. And then I mentioned interviews. This is one of the ways what I do, try to just assess myself. I attend interviews every now and then, just to get to assess my level. Okay, what is obtainable out there, so that I'm not carried away by what is happening in my team. Because um, each team they have different processes. Yeah. So just like, for example, now in my team we have 170 engineers and just 4 QAs. You can't compare that to if I'm working in that team with probably like 50 QA engineers. So I try to attend interviews. I try to, even if I'm not picked, I just, so that I can assess myself. Okay, what's obtainable out there? What do I need to work on? Like, receive their feedback with gratitude. Even if they say it in a harsh way or they say it in a nice way, I receive feedback and I try to improve myself. So that's all. Questions and answers. I don't know if we heard me.
We definitely heard you, Ma. We definitely heard you. Thank you so, so much. Yes, we heard you loud and clear. Wow. Guys, I don't think I need to give you any more ginger. I mean, you already know what it is. Automation is the way, right? Automation is the way. She has broken it down for us, step by step processes. How do you not only become a test automation engineer, but also scaling your career? Thank you so much. It was quite simple, very, very simple and easy to understand. Thank you so, so much. If you have any questions, please drop it before our next speaker comes on board. Please, if you have any questions, kindly drop it. Yes, we're running up by 3:30. Okay, so you have just about 18 more minutes to go. All right, Ma. So right now we don't have any questions. I think it was very, very self-explanatory and quite easy for everyone to understand. So thank you so much, Ma. We appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. And right about now, we'll be bringing in our last and final speaker. Yes. Whoo! Guys, this woman is going to blow your mind. Okay, so this is Brunke. Please, ma'am, Brunke, I'm going to read profile though before you come and chase me. I'm going to read profile. Okay, so excuse me, let me read profile. All right, so Ibrunke Yakin is an excellent career coach who has empowered over 20,000 people through emails, events, videos, courses, coaching programs, and speaking engagement, resulting in them tapping into the USD 168.71 billion wealth of software development market. Hey, see, this thing is the truth. It's not just throwing numbers, it's the real deal. She has helped various industries build quality products by carrying out software testing activities on web application, mobile application, microservices, API services, hardware applications, and IoT devices. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the one, the only Ibro Ekini, senior test automation engineer. And let me finish. Let me finish. Senior test automation engineer at Symphony Solutions. Drum roll. Take it away. Blow our
Yeah.
minds.
All right, guys, just skip everything Eniola said. Just skip and let's focus. Let's focus on why we are here. Yes, just focus on why you are here. She has energy and you know it, so don't compare our energy level. I don't even have that kind of energy level. Okay, so yes, today I'm here to do just one thing. I'm here to do one thing and only one thing, and which is for me to share with you the little I know when it comes to why and how you should become a test automation engineer. Okay. Please, can you hear me loud and clear? Please, me, I don't do silent night. Oh, holy night. So I
We can
need
hear you
to know
loud
that.
and clear. We can hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I hope you can hear me, and that is fine. Now, like I said, I'm not always a fan of having everybody in the room. Okay, so there are some people that will need to leave the room, there are some people that will need to stay. Okay, this masterclass is for you. And I mean, if you're going to be listening to me after this session, this is the point to decide if you need to still keep your ears plugged or you need to just end the meeting and leave. Just make your decision from this point. This masterclass is for you. The session I will be presenting for you is for you if you are a tester, but you are only good with manual testing and you have interest and you have also been trying to learn test automation. This my session is also for you if you have been taking free courses and other online platforms like YouTube and so on, and in fact you have even taken some academic courses and you still cannot do and pass a coding challenge during a test automation interview to secure a job. This masterclass is also for you if you have done some test automation courses but you still find it challenging to get international job offers as a test automation expert. This session is also for you if you want to become a test automation engineer, but you hate coding. you just want somewhere you can learn programming to do test automation like ABC, and you want to know it end to end, not just for you to take one course, which is the part of it. So if this speaks to someone like you, then yes, you're in the right place. However, this session or this masterclass is not for you if you cannot focus for the next 20 to 30 minutes to learn on how to become a test automation engineer. This session is also not for you if you are okay being a manual tester and you believe this is enough. Manual testing is just enough for you to focus on in your testing career, and you are not interested in any opportunity that will help you become a test automation engineer. Please also note that this session is not for you if you believe learning test automation skill is not necessary for you to grow your testing career. Again, this session, lastly, is not for you if you're already a test automation expert and you can land yourself 7-figure salary job and secure international offers by yourself, you don't need help, you're already doing this, then this session is not for you. Okay? Do we have people that are leaving the room, people that are staying at this point? I believe that you make a decision at this point. So you know what this session I'm about to give is for and which is not for. So make your decision to either leave or stay. My promise to you is that I will deliver as much value as I can in the next 20 to 30 minutes. And everything I speak here is based on my own practical life scenarios and that I've also teach people. There is nothing here that is theory based, right? If you need theory, I'm always a fan of just send me a DM on Instagram, IG, or Twitter. My handle is @Yakini, and I'll send you a lot of resources for theory. But whatever I'm teaching here is not theory based, and they are all hands-on practical. Everything I teach you today works. It is result-oriented, inspired, and not internet-based content. And that is why you cannot get most of my content online. In return, what I need from you, what I'm asking you to do is to open your mind to the new information you're about to learn. Take plenty of notes that you can begin to implement what you have learned. Be present, pay attention. You can always, in just one line of things I would say, you can make your aha moment from just one statement, and that will make your masterclass. So again, this is like your masterclass is just starting. Whatever you have heard today in the previous session from other speakers, I would say is a place to water the ground. This is the time that we are starting. Now, tips for watching a masterclass. I always like to give you a cleaning room. 1, be in a quiet environment. In case you're in party, because I understand today is Saturday, be in a quiet room and give me your full attention. Get your notepad and pen ready, set it on your table and plug your headset. Put your phone on silence. Please, you can always check your social media later. Close all the tabs and extra application that might distract you. And just take the next 20 minutes as your me time moment. Just your time, just you alone. Now, during my session, during this masterclass, you will learn 3 common mistakes that stop manual testers from becoming a skilled test automation engineer. The truth is, at the end of this session, we do it and everybody's clap and everybody say thank you and everybody leaves. Then 6 months, 1 year down the line, people are still stuck. They still cannot make or become a test automation engineer because of 3 common mistakes that they make. The second thing I'll be covering here is the exact breakdown of how I became a test automation engineer with an international company, even though I hated coding and I was based in Nigeria as of then. And the third thing I will be teaching you is the easiest way to become a test automation engineer. But there is an hint, it's not by self-learning. Okay, let's dive in. If you wait to the end of my session, I have a free and private bonus for you. At the end of my masterclass, at the end of my session, I'll be giving out a bonus. And one of the bonus is if you enroll for the program that I'm about to launch to you, you automatically qualify to participate in this free but private webinar. However, if you don't want to register, I still will not deprive you from this session. So you can always register with 20K to participate in this session. Okay, so this session that I'm giving out for free for those that participate to the very end, or those that will be taking action at the end of this session, is going to be free, but you can pay 20K. If you are not going to be signing up for the offers I'll be giving you or the opportunities I'll be sharing with you, you can always just come and be part of this private masterclass with 20,000 naira. Okay, so this is like a true time. I used to live in Nigeria where I work on 2 to 3 full-time jobs to keep up with the getting high-end 6-figure salaries. When I say high-end, everybody know that 6-figure salaries start from 100,000 naira. So when I say high-end 6-figure salary, you know I'm talking about 800, 900K. I kept context switching amidst full-time jobs and side gigs to a point I wasn't delivering at my 100% best as a result. And as a result of this, I couldn't even ask for promotion or more pay from either of the companies I was working because I really don't have something demanding to back up my case. I knew I wanted more. So I embarked on a journey to research on how to become better and upskill myself. It was during this period I discovered and test run the simplified test automation for manual testers framework. With this framework, I and few other testers are successfully switched to securing a test automation engineering role with companies in US, UK, and Netherlands respectively within a year, despite we hate coding. In fact, the essence of us going on this journey and using this framework is because we hate coding. Okay, so well, today I now live in the UK, working for an international company in Netherlands, and in fact, within 3 months of joining the company, I got promoted to a test lead role just by resuming and focusing on one job. So that is just a brief about me. I understand some of you would have been thinking like, that is just me. Oh, she's describing me. Well, I used to be in that shoes. So yes, I understand. This was me in 2020 versus in 2022. Now there is a flashback story to this. In 2020, like you see, I have 2 systems. In fact, there were 3 systems. I used to juggle between these 3 systems because I was working in 3 different companies at the same time. And of course, you know, I was doing manual testing before then. Everything was fine. And then quickly I started I went online like everybody used to do, go on YouTube, subscribe to some YouTube channels where they teach you about one programming language or the other on how to become an automation tester. You know, they don't even teach you to become an automation tester. They mostly teach you on the kind of programming language that you want to learn. Okay. And after doing that, funny enough, I got the role. I got the role as a test automation engineer in Nigeria. Now, it looks like a breakthrough, right? But really not a breakthrough to the end yet, because one, I was working as a test automation engineer, but I was doing manual testing in the company. I was still writing test cases. I was still doing manual testing, right? Aside from that, my salary does not even reflect a test automation engineer, right? So this was what I was doing, and I continually do this. I was doing this. I was frustrated. I mean, you want the title, right, as a test automation engineer, which is good, okay? But are you really positioned to become a test automation engineer? Anyways, we get into that. But that was my journey in 2020. I know that I've taught over like 600 certified testers to becoming a software tester, and they're doing fantastically well with manual testing. Over 93% are working as a tester. But there comes a time in the life of every tester that you wanted more for yourself. Either you want more in money or you want more in your career growth, other than just doing manual testing. Now, I did this, and this was the journey, and that was when I completely focused on my framework and make a switch into test automation. I applied to the right company that needed my skills. I did the interview, did my coding challenge, I passed it, I resumed. And now, yes, I'm currently working as a test automation engineer I'm earning salary that that reflects my job title. Okay. And yes, overall, I've been able to do every flexibility, like that flexibility that you say you want to do. Working with developers, being able to communicate their language, being able to work with any companies you work, you can literally see a job opportunity. I can literally see a job opportunity right now and apply for it because that is my interest. And of course, I now know the kind of jobs to apply for and the one not to apply for. Okay, so that's just it about it. So that was me in 2020, and this is me in 2022. Since I switched to, since I upgraded, let me say upskill to becoming a test automation engineer. Of course, my career will definitely take a shift with the framework that I discovered and I applied to myself and other people. Now, let's dive in. The three common mistakes manual testers who want to become a test automation engineer make. One, you pick up a programming language to start learning. Yes, it's what everybody do. You hear that, okay, like I can see in the chat section, someone was mentioning about robotic framework, and boom, you start learning robotic framework. Okay, I mean, best to my knowledge, as far as I know, robotic framework does not require coding. But again, is that what your team really wants? These are the questions you ask yourself before you switch to picking up a tool and start using. But talking about the coding part, me and you, we know we want to become a test automation engineer. We want to know how to write code. That code is freaking us out. We know. And one of the mistakes we jump to do is, you know what? I'm going to pick up JavaScript or Java or Python or just let me just focus on Cypress, and then you start learning that. Now, what that simply means is that you check for the commonly used programming language or look for a trending programming language and then you start learning it, right? That is what a lot of people do. So you pick programming language like Java, Python, JavaScript, or Cypress, any which one, you just start learning it. Now, one thing realize is that at the end of the day, if you continue with that approach, you still will not be able to automate excellently. Like you will still not be able to switch to that test automation role. There are so many test automation skills out there. There are so many free courses online out there. But still, we still have millions and thousands of testers who still cannot become a test automation engineer because they continue picking up a programming language and then just learning it. You will get stuck on one programming language at the end of the day. Possibly you then get to switch into, let's say you pick up Python, and then you start learning Python. Aside from every other thing, you get stuck on Python. And so let's say you join a company and they say, you know what? We don't want to use Python. Just Java is what we want to do, right? Because you have picked up the programming language by yourself to start learning it, you get stuck. You have to start learning Java. Or you find a lot of context switch into Java because you did not even understand some things before you even started. And that limits the kind of companies you can join. Some companies will not even give you the opportunity to come and learn in their company. They want you to be good at it before you even come on board. So it limits the company and the team you can work with. If you stop, you can switch. There are things you can learn that you can switch between different programming languages easily. Emmanuel was mentioning that he currently does Python and JavaScript, and sometimes he does Java. But that did not come on a basis of, I want to stick into Python and then you go straight into Python. No, that comes from doing something particular that every common tester does, right? You switch between different programming language easily. You will be working with any companies regardless of programming language required. You will also be able to successfully do any test automation role coding a challenge and secure your job as a test automation engineer. The second mistake people do is learning with curriculum instead of structure. This is one thing we do either as a beginner in any software testing course or as an expert. You pick up, what that simply means is that you have a test automation curriculum. This is Python that I want to learn. So these are the curriculum and the topics I need to complete in Python, and then you learn it. There is no guides to pick you up from manual level to land you to the test automation job market. You are finishing a curriculum without structure to even proceed you to the job level. So you just finish programming language and then you go for an interview, and then you surprise me why they are not even picking you, why they are not calling you back. I know the skill now, so how come? If you continue that way, you will keep signing up for free courses or starting YouTube courses and even pay for courses both online and even with academies, and you will never finish it. And even if you finish the curriculum, you will still not be able to automate. But if you stop, you will become a skilled test automation engineer within a projected framework, timeline or time frame, and land international offers. The third mistake is having overview of test automation skill over end-to-end test automation depth. What that simply means is that you know what test automation is. I mean, you have heard it before. You have read about it online. People have said it. And even now, you have heard a lot of speakers says everything about test automation is. So you have the overview level. Everything you know is still on the overview level. You have an idea of tools, you know programming language that we use for test automation, you know the tools we use for them, but you don't know the right supported frameworks and CI/CD tool to use. You don't even know at which point a particular test automation programming language tool or framework is required. If you continue with this, you won't get growth in the test automation career. You will give up easily. You will roll back to becoming a manual tester, and you will have an automation title role, but you keep still doing manual testing. If you stop, you will grow in test automation career and know when to advance. You will share test automation knowledge and train other people in your team, like many of these speakers we have invited have done. You'll be specialized in test automation engineering team. You will be a specialized test automation engineer in your team. Now, the second thing I will be sharing today is the simplified test automation framework for manual testing. But before I dive into this, has anybody make any of this mistake before? Have you made any of this mistake before? I would like to see it in the comment section. Let me know if you have made any of this mistake before, or you're currently making any of those mistakes. I would like to know if this is just me or there are other people that can relate. The next thing I'll be covering here while I await your comment section is the simplified test automation framework for manual testers. Now, this is the exact breakdown of how I became a test automation engineer with an international company. And even though I hated coding and I was based in Nigeria, there is a roadmap, right? One, I follow the roadmap. The first one is the test automation fundamentals, right? Which is fundamental, okay? But the French word is fundamentals. And then the second one is Automation or programming language for manual tester. The third one is test automation simplified. The fourth one is deployment optimized. And the fifth one is eating the market upskilled. You either go for a salary upgrade or you choose your next job offer. So let's talk about the first one, which is test automation fundamental. Now, a lot of time, what does that even really mean? You are going to be having, with the test automation fundamental, because you are coming from the manual level, we understand that you hate coding, right? I know, yes, some people are trying to have the mindset, you know what? I want to like coding. I want to like coding. I want to like coding. Right? But with this course, you are going to learn the in-depth of what test automation is all about from the perspective of an incoming test automation engineer as a manual tester. So there is a level you bring in, you are going to be bringing test automation understanding to you as a manual tester, which I can guarantee you that 90% of people that teaches automation courses out there never invest to do. And that is why a lot of manual testers find it very hard and difficult to even understand or even use what they have learned appropriately. Why is this important? Because it clears the myths and biases you have about test automation. And that is why you hear some people say that give a lot of biases and a lot of myths about what test automation is. Some people even say that, test automation takes over your job. It takes over your career as a manual tester. In fact, if you don't do test automation, your career has failed. So this is very important because this page is very important because it helps you to clear the mind and biases you have on test automation. And you're going to be learning the in-depth knowledge in contrast to having an overview. When you do this, you are going to have a full knowledge of when your expertise is required and the strategies of deploying your delivery excellently. Now, why a lot of people don't do it is that they think they know what it is. Now, 100% or 98% of people feel like they don't understand what test automation fundamental is. Probably because they have taken so many courses online. They feel like, I know what test automation is now. It's not just the fundamental. It's not test automation. It's not the use of tools and programming language to automate something and make my work faster. That is what makes a lot of people stuck. They don't do this stage. They don't spend a lot of time in this stage. They don't understand the fundamentals of this stage because they think they know what it is. The second one is the anatomy of programming language for manual tester. At this stage, you are going to be breaking down the skeleton of programming language. Like we mentioned, one of the common mistakes manual tester does is that they go and pick a programming language without even understanding what programming language itself is all about. You don't understand the structure, the objectives, the everything that makes up programming, like not even picking up a language yet. Not even picking up Java, Python, or anything. Programming language itself, it's an entire course on its own. Understanding the skeleton that makes up a programming language. And in this course, we will be using JavaScript to dissect it. That one, and with this JavaScript, it helps you to have a very layman understanding of what programming language is all about. If you are part of this program, at this phase of the program, we are going to be using JavaScript to dissect what programming language is all about. And then you get to choose, do you want to go with Java or you want to go with Python programming language? Any which one you choose to do, that is what we are going to be teaching you on. So you get to choose between Python or Java. But in addition, you are definitely going to know JavaScript as a test automation programming language, and also one more programming language. So it can be you're either having JavaScript on Python or Python, or JavaScript and Java. Now, why is this necessary? Because it's the fundamental, the benchmark of test automation as a whole. Before you digress into test automation, programming language, understanding what programming language is, and understanding how to write Java or Python and JavaScript programming language are even very core to even switching into test automation. You need to understand what programming is all about, step by step, what each object, what method, what they really stand for. The different data types are so much more. What do they really stand for? How do they even function? How do you even write program like code, like a developer, before you even dive into test automation? Now, what this does is at the end of this course, you are going to have the ability to code as an engineer. Now, why a lot of people don't do this phase is because they feel like coding is hard. I've heard it over and over again. In fact, if I'm going to do a voting right now in the chat section, and I ask you to drop to me, why don't you learn test automation? 100% of the time, a lot of people say code that don't like it because of coding. And why are you not learning coding? I hear it is very difficult. It is too hard. I don't think I can get it. Yes, we hear that a lot. And whereas it is not, because they skip this stage is the reason why coding is very difficult and hard for them to do. Now, the third one is test automation simplified. Now, at this phase, you are going to learn how to develop test automation framework and start writing your test automation script, from API test automation in depth to mobile test automation and web test automation. These are the things you are going to be learning at this phase. Why this is important? Because it helps you to own your skill set in the core of your skilling. Now, that is the skill set. That is the core. You don't just want to do, I know how to do web automation, but when it comes to mobile, it is an headache. You don't want to do this. Like, I know how to do web. I can do web automation. I mean, Cypress, I can do some stuff. But when it comes to mobile, you drop back a little. Now, at the end of this, you are going to become a skilled test automation engineer. And you can decide you want to specialize in either mobile, APIs, or web. Now, why a lot of people don't do this is because test automation, they believe that test automation will take over their job. And it is just needed at the end of testing. It is just that part you do when you want to go live, something you just quickly spin before you go live. That is what they think test automation is. So they run away from it. They feel like, oh, no, I mean, why the stress if this is just the last phase that I need it? And then the fourth phase is the deployment optimize. I think one of the speakers, like Ademola mentioned, he talked about the CI/CD, he talked about pipeline, which he explained as a way at which we automate the deployment of our code, right? Now, at this phase, you are going to learn how to develop your own pipeline for your test automation project. You will also be able to sync in your test automation testing within the development team pipeline. You will learn to use standard CI/CD tools. You can name it, be it GitLab, be it Jenkins, and many more. And why are they even crucial? When should you even be using them? What it is, how to use them in case you join a company that is required or that is what they are using. And of course, why it is crucial to make the best use of them. Now, this is important because it helps you to manage and deploy your test like a pro within a sprint. And at the end of this, you're going to be very skilled in test automation end to end. Now, a lot of people don't do this because they do not even know that there is a DevOps or there is an operation part of test automation. Test automation is just not about writing the code and setting up framework and then writing the code and then boom, that's it. There are easy ways for you to deploy, your Gits, your to push your work to the repository and deploy your work excellently and easily. So a lot of people don't do it because they don't even know that there is this part in test automation. And then lastly, the fifth phase that we are going to be taking you on this roadmap is the hit the market upskill. I mean, you're going to be spending a lot of time to learn all of these skills, become revamped from manual testing to automation engineer, not even revamped, upskilled, if I miss my word. You're going to be spending a lot of time to upskill your skill set from manual testing. Now, at the end of the old journey, at the end of this roadmap, you're going to be having both manual testing skill that you're very good at and also test automation skills that you have now been skilled up on. So at this stage, you either decide to go for your company to ask for a salary upgrade, regardless of whatever you're earning, or you choose the next job offer. Now, at this phase, you're going to be gathering experience required and get interviewed on the spot, meaning that it's not enough for you to just come and learn about the skill. You're going to be working on live projects, at least minimum of 3 live projects. You're going to be working on them, and you're going to be getting interviewed on the spot. So we are going to be having companies come interview you as a test automation engineer, and are going to be getting your responses. So this phase, why it is important, because practice makes perfection. It's not enough for you to learn. You need to practice and practice and practice so as to help you get skilled and professionalize in whatever you're choosing to do. At the end of the day, what you choose to become is a sought after test automation engineer because you have now earned your skill, right? You own it and you are very good at it. Now, why a lot of people don't believe it is that I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I don't do it because I don't even believe that anybody can collect 7-figure salary. Like, you don't even believe testers can collect 7-figure salary. Anyway, I heard a lot of people say that. So yes, they don't do it because they don't believe that 7-figure salary is possible. Now, so far, we have learned the 3 common mistakes that stop manual testers from becoming a skilled test automation engineer. We have also learned the exact breakdown of how I became a test automation engineer with an international company, even though I hated coding and was based in Nigeria. Now, if you are still here at this point, I'm very sure you are not just here by chance or you just want to come and see what test automation is. Okay. I'm also sure you are here because you want to become a test automation engineer, because I already gave an exit door to those that are already experts. I already gave an exit door for those that don't want to become a test automation engineer. So if you are still on this call, if you are still listening to me, that means you are here because you want to become a test automation engineer. And I'm sure if you are still here listening to me, you also have questions to ask me because you want these and you want me to guide you and you have been, in fact, there are so many questions lumped up in your head right now that, okay, you know what? How do I even start with all of this journey? Everything I have shared with you today is not theory. It has been proven by me and other participants. It's something I have done. It's something I'm enjoying. It's something that is working for me. Now, the truth is you have 2 options. You know the latest slang that goes out there. I'm a option kind of girl. I give you option to not stay with me or I stay with you or we stay with each other. However, the option that I have with you at this point is 2. You either do it alone. Yes, you can do it alone. Or you fast track your result with my framework. With the TAS roadmap that I've showed you earlier, you either fast track your learning and your result with this TAS framework, with this roadmap, or you do it by yourself. Either of those 2, you are free to do that. If you do it alone, approach is I'm still going to guide you anyways, even if you still want to do it alone. 1, subscribe to there are so many YouTube channels you can subscribe to, watch what they are doing and implement it. In fact, read articles, implement what they have done. There's not going to be guides or mentorship or no other people to learn with you. I did that. I was there too. If it takes longer, because I need to let you know the precautions. If you need me, if you want to learn this alone, let me know. There's so many YouTube channels I'm going to refer to you to go and learn test automation on. But in my own experience doing it alone, there was no guide, there was no mentorship, there was no people to learn with. In fact, it takes longer time with no guarantee at the end of the day that you will even become a sought after test automation engineer. In fact, I can give a guarantee that it took me almost 2 years wasting time doing it alone. before I discovered this framework. So this is the third part that I said I'm going to be covering today, which is the easiest way to become a test automation engineer. It is not by self-learning. It is not by subscribing to YouTube channels and watching and then implementing what they are doing. It is not by learning without a guide. Nobody does it easier, except, you have people that you're working with, you have people that you're learning with, and you're able to implement it with people. And of course, it's going to take you a longer time. So this is just not the best approach to become a test automation engineer. However, this is a good way to do it alone. Do it alone and you get the result. Now, if you want to work with me, I'm going to be welcoming you at this stage to the Testify Automation School. Now, with the Testify Automation School is a fast track results framework that you're going to be getting. With this framework, those 5 phases that I've listed out to you, we are going to be covering 5 seasoned modules, those 5 seasoned modules. And all of these almost altogether covers up to 50 different lessons on different stages. Of course, altogether makes almost 50 lessons. 24 weekend live coaching calls. So it's not a thing that I'm just learning, nobody's seeing me. No, we're going to be having live coaching courses every weekend for good 24 weekends. You're also going to be interviewing with hiring manager for a test automation role. There's going to be a 360-degree career mentorship for free with thought leaders that are already test automation engineers. So you're going to be meeting with them along the journey. Now, fast track your results with my framework is going to be starting on July 3rd, 2022. The duration is 6 months. It's a virtual event, so you can learn it by wherever you are. It's not physical because we have people in different locations, and picking a fixed venue will just limit them. And this course is specifically for manual testers. So you're already a manual tester before you want to do this. If you are not already a manual tester, you want to dive into testing, you can always go to our switch to software testing course at testcodecamp.com to sign up for that. And yeah, this is the framework that you can use. The course itself is 250,000 naira only. That is just how much you get to pay. This is something that even manual testers earn. This is even less to what so many manual testers earn today. You can pay for this course in full. If you pay in full, you get to pay 245,000 naira against the 250,000 naira. You can pay in 2 installments. Pay before the 30th of June with 150,000 naira before the 30th of the first installment. And then while we are in the program, you can balance up your 40% of 100,000 naira. But I mean, you can join this course. You don't have to break your pocket. If you know you don't have up to this amount yet, you don't have to break your pocket to join this program. You can join this program with as low as 50,000 naira, and then you spread your balance across the month during the program. Just 50,000 naira to join the program, and then you spread your balance while during the program. So you can spread it for 3 installments. So it means that you're going to be paying 70,000 naira after paying your first 50,000 naira. So it means that before the 30th of June, you're meant to sign up for this program with 50,000 naira. By July ending, we expect you to pay 70,000. August, 70,000. September, no, August, I think that's the head. 70, and then you're 50. So 50, 70, 70. But that will make you pay a total sum of 260,000 naira. If you're going to be spreading it for 4 installments, which is possible as well, pay 50,000 naira to join the program. And then as we go on, you pay 83 times. But that will make you pay altogether 290,000 naira. So you can pay in full, you can pay in 2 installments, you can pay in 3 installments, you can pay in 4 installments, above all, you can join this program with just 50,000 naira. Okay, so this is the link for you to sign up. Just go to, I hope the admin can help us share the link in the chat section. Go to bit.ly link and search for Testify Automation School with this link, and you can sign up today. However, I said I have a bonus for those that stick to the very end of this program. Bonus. Please, are you people hearing me? I mean, this section is just so quiet. I don't understand what's going on. What's going on, guys? What's going on? I can't see any comments. I don't know if people are listening to me. I have over 100 people live. So that is the link in the chat section. You can click on it and sign up to the program with 50,000 naira. Go to the payment section, and yes, you can sign up for the program and then spread your balance across the period of the program. Now, I say if you stay through with me, you're going to get bonus. Now, this is the bonus. There is a bonus. There is a bonus. Now, if you're going to sign up between today and June 4th, 2022 by 11:59 p.m., okay, June 4th, that is next week Saturday, between today and next week Saturday, if you are able to sign up, then there is a bonus for you. Two bonus that people that sign up later, they might not get. In fact, they might not even get it. First thing is you're going to be part of the free and private program on Sunday. So on Sunday, we have a program for those that are going to be signing up between today and on Saturday. And this masterclass program is a session that you're going to be holding privately to teach people how to be internationally job ready. During that program, I'm going to be teaching you the tools, everything you need to have on your laptop, everything you need to have on your phone, everything you need to have, talking about bank account that you need to open, account number you need to open, everything you need to have to be internationally job ready. We are going to be doing it live during that session. Okay, so you get to be part of the program for free if you sign up between today and on June 4th, 11:59 p.m. And also, I have this special Testify Automation School package delivered to you if you sign up. I don't care where you are on the earth. As long as DHL can get you, you're going to be getting this box. Now, ideally, the content of this box is quite a lot, but let me share you what I have in this box. Thank you. And that's what we had displayed on that screen, not quite long, is a Testify Automation School welcome box that has quite a number of content in it. We have the stickers, Testify wristband. We have the bug stickers as well. We have a welcome note to you. We have quite a number of things that is going to be inside our box. And only those that take the opportunity to sign up between today and the 4th of June by 11:59 p.m. are only those that are going to be getting this amazing bonus. Okay, these are the only people that are going to be getting this bonus at the end of the day. So if you sign up before June 4th, on or before June 4th, 2022 by 11:59 p.m., and that will be all from me. Okay, thank you. Eniola, over to you.
Okay. Yeah, I've already signed up. I'm sure you see my name at back end. I'm the first to sign up. Because man, I cannot wait for this. I cannot wait for this class to start. Wow, thank you very much. First of all, I have to say thank you for putting together this amazing masterclass. I mean, it just gives credence to how much you are invested in giving value to people. I've been in contact with you for some time now, and I must say, like, you are really committed to giving value to people. Thank you so much. And I know that learning automation is not a joke. It's way more than the amount you are giving. But we thank you also. Thank you for considering us, considering our pockets. We appreciate you. Are grateful. So thank you. I'm very sure that before the end of the day, you're going to see a lot of people sign up on that wait list and make payments. But guys, if you have question, you can reach out to Iburoke on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Her DM is open. She's not giving all those people that be giving vibe and me like, you can't talk to me, I'll block you on private. She's very open. Please enter her DM, ask her questions. She's available. She even give us her email address. That email is not the email that is one person that behind is her that handles her email. So she's available to respond to you if you have any question. So please, let's eat her up on Instagram, on LinkedIn, anywhere that you see Bironke Princess Yekini is her. So chat her up, ask her questions. Someone is asking, when will the program commence fully? Ma'am?
Okay, the program will commence fully on the 3rd of July, 2022. That's the start date of the program, and it's going to last for 6 months. So one other person asked me is, please, how much is a one-time payment? 245,000 naira is the one-time payment.
Right.
Thank you.
So if you're paying once, give you 5,000 naira discount. And don't forget the box of goodies. If you're having all the Testify, branded stuff, this one, that one, everything branded. Okay. So yeah, 245 for one-time payment. And if you want to do installment payment, your two installment, three installment. I mean, she even went as far as four installments. I think that's fantastic. Pretty much considerate for a number of us that may not actually have all that money at the moment. So yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I'll say thank you to Testify Limited for putting this together. I'm sure a lot of people, I know a lot of manual testers that are very much ready to learn automation. Me in my office now, they're saying we should do. They're giving us OKR of automation on something. I'll not lie. I mean, I watched one video on YouTube, 6 hours of Python. I want to have accidents. Like I don't even remember the things I've learned there. But knowing that there is a better way to actually acquire this knowledge, I think I'm actually going to go through this way, if not there. So that's okay. And Victoria saying that she saw 320K when she tried one-time payments. I don't know if is that yeah.
I think that would be a mistake from our end, but
Okay.
just give us like a minute, that will be fixed. But that's
That'll
the
be
price
okay.
of, yeah, for the full time payment is 245. So just give
Okay,
us a
okay.
minute, and in the next 2 minutes you can try to pay.
Okay, fantastic. So Victoria, that will be changed back end. I think that's a mistake on our part. Okay. So guys, I'm pretty sure you are gingered for automation. If you already have a career as a tester, right? Manual tester, this of course you know that this is the next thing you want to do. All right. If you are yet to even start, maybe you already have you've learned testing basics of software testing, and you probably haven't even gotten a job yet. I think this is the right place for you to plug in. Imagine when you now had automation on your CV, you definitely get job offers fast. Like she mentioned, a community that we have currently. If you've ever been in touch with Testify Limited, you've probably gone through our courses, switch to software training, our CS Launchpad, and all that. You most likely have you be in our community, our WhatsApp community. We have a lot of people there, over 200 people there, and job offers are usually posted every day. Like you have, like yesterday, we had about five or almost 10 say, vacancies that were dropped on the group. So if you don't have an opportunity right now, you don't have a place you're working in right now. If you go ahead and learn the automation here, I can assure you that once you have that, it's very easy for you to apply. International companies are looking for people, and they are willing to relocate you. They will get you outside the country. If you want to work from where you are to, they're willing to, station you wherever you want to work. So this is one of the things to actually have on your CV, and to give you that edge that you require. So from us to you all, thank you so much for waiting. It's 2 hours 52 minutes. Oh yeah, we have just 8 minutes on to 3 hours into this session. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you for being a part of this. It's been amazing having this session with everybody. Thank you so much. Okay, Latifa is asking for the link again. I would get that across to you. We'll try to. So I'm going to paste that on the. I hope you can see it. Okay, Chisom, I think she said the 20K is for people that don't participate don't register now. I think you're going to have to probably pay 20K for a webinar that might come up later. But if you register now, you won't have to pay that 20K. What about mobile automation? I believe that somewhere in the course of the course, that's the automation school, mobile automation might be touched, most likely, because I think mobile automation is one of the major things that's running right now. So definitely it should be the curriculum. It should be the curriculum. But we can always ask her that later. I think Veronica isn't here at the moment to answer that. So guys, from us to you guys, thank you so much. If you have any other question, please engage us on Instagram, Testify Limited, Testify Academy. We are right there to answer your questions. Thank you so much for sticking till this time. I mean, I know that you guys have other things you could have used these 3 hours to do, but you decided to be a part of this masterclass. I'm pretty sure the time you spent here is not wasted. You've learned a lot of things, and we are deeply grateful that you decided to spend your Saturday afternoon with us. Thank you so much. All right. From me, Eniola Ajala, to you guys, I say thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, and see you in Testify Test Automation School. All right. So in the meantime, I'm just going to play music. You guys can exit. If you have questions, you can still drop them, or just chat us up on Instagram. You can also send us message on info@testifylimited.com. That's our email address. So you can send us. Let me drop that in the mailbox. Yes. Oh, yes. They can definitely connect with the speakers. Oh, sorry about that, Badmos. Yes. So if you want to connect with the speakers, I know Tommy dropped her Instagram handle. She dropped her LinkedIn profile and so on. So, Badmos, if you can also drop your LinkedIn profile, Instagram, Twitter, whichever platform they can reach out to you. I don't know if they can probably just do a search with your name and they would see you if that works for them as well. So, I mean, we all have the speaker's name: Emmanuel, we have Cyprian, we have Ademola Badmos, we have Tomilola Familoni, and of course Bironke Yekini. So you can search them online, either on LinkedIn or you search them on Instagram. You can definitely follow them. Reach out to them if you have questions. I'm sure they'll be very much ready to help. Just mention that you're part of the test automation masterclass held by Testify, and they'll be very eager to connect with you. All right. So please reach out to the speakers. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Femayawa. Thank you so much. Okay, I can see some people are catching some people in the DM. All right. Okay, guys. So thank you, guys. See you on the other side. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Baby, through my command, be like zombie. Go down on me, you with your coca body. Through my command, be like zombie. Go down on me, you with your coca body. Cause this your milky for front enough for me. Hold on for me, I no go do me corny. And if you're milking a fighty, I saw me to look. Then I on me, oh baby, smile, baby, gonna, waka waka when you enter Malika. Baby, gonna, will you give me sugar, wala, Macho Mona Lisa, 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 Macho Mona Lisa. Girl, I'll be foolish if I don't let you indulge me. Your lips like poison. I take my chance with you. If I be you're in denial. I'll show you I'm loyal. No one that run way down like tsunami or wow, yeah. Would you hold me down in the corner? Waka waka when you enter Malika. Baby, gonna. Will you give me sugar, wala. Macho Mona Lisa, 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 Macho Mona Lisa. so city. Baby, follow my command, like zombie. Go down on me, you with your coca body. Follow my command, like zombie. Go down on me, you with your coca body. Cause this your milky for front enough for me. Hold on for me, I no go to me corny. And if you're licking a fighty, I saw me go look. Gelato honey, oh baby, sumoyo, deep, baby, kona. Waka, when you enter my licha. Baby, kona. Will you give me sugar, wala. Macho Mona Lisa, 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 Macho Mona Lisa. Girl, I'll be foolish if I don't let you indulge me. Your lips like poison. I take my chance with you. If I did, you're in denial. I'll show you I'm loyal. You want to come way down like tsunami or the would you hold me down in the corner? Waka, when you enter my licha. Baby, corner. Do you give me sugar, wala? Macho Mona Lisa, 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 Macho Mona Lisa.
You're now listening to an official Oh So City mix.
Oh, so city, que rico, papi.
Problem in all the finish. Make it try to enjoy. While I in all the finish. Make it try to enjoy. Make a uru no the finish. Make it try to enjoy. Problem in all the finish. Make it try to enjoy. Make it dance like Luala. Yeah, Luala. Make it dance like Luala. Yeah, Luala. Make it dance like Luala. Yeah, Luala. Dance like Luala. Yeah, Luala. See this time, I can't keep myself. I just want to live my life, live and